the imposition of tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China starting tomorrow.
We may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that, but long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world.
He's also claiming Canada would cease to exist without its trade surplus with the U.S.
To be honest, I don't think they appreciate it. So we're going to change that. We're going to change it fast.
China has reiterated its threat to take what it calls necessary countermeasures to defend its legitimate rights and interest. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Two top security officials at USAID have been sidelined by the Trump administration after trying to block access to Elon Musk and his government efficiency staff.
The two security chiefs are among nearly 100 employees at the U.S. Agency for International Development who have been put on leave. Both President Trump and Elon Musk are critical of the agency, which is the world's largest donor of humanitarian aid. Musk claimed on X that USAID is evil and criminal, and the president claimed it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics. Congressional Democrats said the changes appear to violate U.S. laws. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Vice President Vance, EPA Administrator Zeldin due to visit East Palestine, Ohio today, second anniversary of the toxic train wreck that devastated the small town and surrounding areas. New lawsuit's been filed containing the first 7 wrongful death claims against Norfolk Southern, including the death of a 1-week-old baby. The vice president represented East Palestine as a U.S. senator. Watching Wall Street this morning, stock futures are sharply lower. Dow futures down 627. More on these stories, townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My debt problem started probably about 2016. I needed my life to change financially. I called Trinity, and I ended up joining based on high credit card bills and high interest rate. And my counselor at Trinity has been great, and Trinity has been helping me to get on the right path of paying off these credit card bills, bringing down the interest rate. They have consolidated my bills into one low monthly payment. And now I am finally getting out of credit card debt. So I just want to say thank you, Trinity, for showing me a better and greater path.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Sharon, and soon I will be debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
At least 19 people have died. A car bomb explosion in northern Syria.
This is the deadliest attack on civilians in Syria since the fall of the Assad regime in December. The bomb exploded at the entrance of Manbij in the early hours of the morning as farmers were heading to work. Most of the victims were women. It's not clear who carried out the attack. Manbij was recently captured from Syrian Kurdish forces by a Turkish-backed militia. The new authorities in Syria have called on the Kurds to join the official army, but they have not taken a clear position on this yet.
The BBC's Lena Sinjab. Swedish prosecutors have decided to release a vessel belonging to a Bulgarian shipping firm after ruling out initial suspicions that sabotage caused damage to an undersea fiber optic cable between Sweden and Latvia. Damage to the cable was detected late last month. The vessel had been seized by Swedish authorities later that same day. News and analysis, townhall.com. President Trump says he's been on the phone, talks aimed at ending the war in Ukraine.
We had a very busy weekend. We're dealing with Israel. We're dealing with Ukraine and Russia. We have meetings and talks scheduled with various parties, including Ukraine and Russia. And I think those discussions are actually going pretty well.
As part of a foreign aid pause, the president recently put a freeze on non-military aid to Ukraine. President Trump vows to cut off all funding to South Africa and has launched an investigation of the country's policies, claiming massive human rights violations over a new land expropriation law. On Truth Social, Mr. Trump writes, South Africa is confiscating land and treating certain classes of people very badly. The government of South Africa says that President Trump needs a better understanding of the law in South Africa. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, Whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday. Happy February.
Yeah, happy February.
It is.
Happy Monday is such an oxymoron.
I know.
But we're here.
We're here. It's February.
That's right.
New month.
Finally made it through the slog that was January.
Yeah.
That was the longest year of my life.
And February starts out in tropical light temperatures,
so.
For
real, though. And
apparently we got 6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
According to Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah.
Of course.
Although this week.
Yeah. I'm not feeling it.
Holy crap, man. Yeah. So allegedly, we've got 6 more weeks of winter. Although you tell me what 80s all week. Our coldest day this week is like 78.
Yeah. So,
so
I was literally wearing shorts this weekend, like out in
public.
In public, doing daytime activities.
I didn't wear any shorts out in public. I did around the house,
yeah.
not out in a boat. I wore sweatpants. Classed it up a little bit.
Nice. Look at you.
Although Saturday I did not. I was doing stuff with scouting.
Oh, yeah.
We had, they had the Conquistador Council had their annual banquet this weekend.
Nice.
And so they have training sessions and stuff for the council. Then they do, in the afternoon, they dedicate at the council office here, they have a patio with all of the scouts that have earned the rank of Eagle. They get their name put on the patio. And so each year they have a ceremony dedicating the each year's class of Eagle Scouts. So they had
very cool.
The new Eagles class dedicate their patio square on Saturday. So I was the MC for that, as I've been doing. Council had their first female Eagle Scout this year. So that's the first female etched on the patio this year. So that's pretty
nice.
Cool.
I am curious how much it got under your skin when you had to stand there on the patio and say, "Go Eagles!"
Those Eagles I'll root for all day.
There you go. Those are the good Eagles.
That's right. Them's the good Eagles.
Not the bad kind.
Not the Philadelphia ones.
Like the kind that are going to the Super Bowl.
That's how I should have started the ceremony. I'm going to start by renaming the Chief Scout badge. It's no longer Eagle Scout, it's Chief Scout.
That's true. You had Chiefs out there and Eagles. Huh.
Bad, my job is to be commander, but that's all right. But no, I kid, of course. But yeah, we it was really cool. And then of course that night they had the banquet out at NMMI. A Saturday night, had a great evening there. Great meal and great. It was cool to MC and do all that stuff. So it was a great night or great weekend. But,
awesome,
great Saturday.
Yeah, it was a good Saturday for me as well. Got out and got a few things done. So Saturday night was the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
and I was.
So you and your partag.
Yeah, I was gonna go over and see a few friends. I went to the store and for Christmas I got these 2 little mini crock pots.
Yeah,
like 2-quart crock pot.
You talked about
set.
Making some.
I was gonna make some queso, little smokies, and then I was at the store and I already purchased all my accoutrements, and a thought crossed my mind.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who's hosting the party has a pretty serious case of Crohn's disease. These foods might not be the best thing for him at a party like this. So I called him. He's like, "Yeah, maybe save those for another get together." So I ended up bringing nothing. I brought a bag of chips and some sodas. So it was I brought a few things. But
Sunday he's just dipping little smokies in cheese.
Just a crock pot for each leg. But yeah, no, it was good get together. Rumble was really good. That's one of those things where it's like it's fun to watch by yourself, but it's really fun to watch as a group, just because you don't know who's going to come out next, and it's just kind of the group factor of it all.
It's like watching a football game or something. You do it with your friends, and
yeah. But unlike the Super Bowl, we were actually paying attention to the game, to the screen.
Well, that's the thing about a party at a game. There is a too many factor.
Yeah.
And the one we go to is really too many people to enjoy watching a game. It's a social event. That being said, when I don't care about the Super Bowl participants, I'm all for it. I'm not going to lie. When the Commanders go back to the Super Bowl, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to handle that environment, because I'm going to be focusing on that game.
Right.
And shut up!
You're going to have to watch that game on your phone.
I might have to be home alone on that one. We'll see. It might not be a group setting watch for me, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge.
That's right. We'll get there. They'll get there.
That's right.
I believe it.
Let me give you the rundown for today's show. We're going to replay an interview this hour, and I need to get her going. She's a little bit long. We're going to replay our interview. Charles Eastlis, Undersheriff for the Sheriff's Department, joined us on Friday, and we'll play that interview for you here in just a few minutes. In the 8 o'clock hour, Jen and Lee from American Legion Post 61 joined us last Wednesday talking about this week, the Fort Chaplain ceremony they got here on the 7th, and a couple other things as well. So we'll play that.
Nice.
And then John Noble will be joining us. I imagine Crystal may or may not be with him as well.
For therapy.
Yes. Roswell Seed, talking Roswell Seed, get an update on what they got going on over there I don't know, man. It's 80 this week. I don't know what to tell you about grass and plants. That's why John will be here. So
it's a weird growing season. I know we'll probably hit another deep freeze before winter's done, but
yeah. So I feel like he's got some things to share about this. So we'll talk. We'll get that update, the Roswell Seed update from John here in the 9 o'clock hour, and then of course we'll do all your features, include the news of the local, national, variety, sports, and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
Whatnot will cover it.
All the whatnot.
All right, it is 7:12. Here's your weather. It's like a little hot, little cold, a little bit all of that. Enjoy.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. We have an extremely quiet weather pattern settling in this week, and it will be fairly warm. Abundant sunshine for today with highs Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia sneaking up to the low 80s. We're settling down to the low 40s for tonight and a few more low to mid 80s. Moving in for tomorrow with lots of sunshine. Highs are up between 80 and 85 for Wednesday with dry weather, and then by Thursday we're dipping down into the upper 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Thank you, Jennifer. Currently 36 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 64%. Winds currently out of the west at 5 miles per hour. As I said, it's going to be warm all week. Our cold day is like 78, so enjoy. It's going to be a beautiful week weather-wise. Sunny, 83 for a high today. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Southeast winds, I apologize, at about 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, overnight low of 40. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Tuesday, mostly sunny, 81 for a high. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday night, mostly clear, overnight low of 38. Southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, 80 for a high. Winds will be out of the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday night, clear, overnight low of 35. Thursday, our chilly day, sunny and 78. But Friday, we're back up to sunny and 80. And then for your weekend, okay. We'll be pushing 80 for Saturday. Sunny, 79 there. But Super Bowl Sunday, we drop down into near 60. So sunny and 59, which, dare I say, is probably more appropriate February temperatures for us. Even though 59 is not bad either. But we will see a bit of a cool down for Super Bowl Sunday. So, but enjoy the week. It's going to be 80s and some shorts and tans and all that good stuff. Good farmer tans for driving around town, all that this week. All right, it is, apologize, I have a monitor out, so I've got to look at different places for things. It is 14 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break, and then on the other side, we'll play our interview we had with Charles Eastlis from the Chaves County Sheriff's Department. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good Morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A big February run with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, light yearlings with condition, pairs, bred cows. We expect to sell 2,000 head, breaking down like this: 225, 250 weight cows and bulls, 150, 175 pairs of bred cows, 1,500, 1,550 calves and yearlings, to include 25 to 30 cow-calf pairs, mostly black, white-face, red, white-face with black calves, pairs 5 to 9 years old, 28 bred cows, Hebert and Sons, Saragossa, Texas, black and white-face, red, white-face English crossbred cows, second and third trimester bred cows 4 to 9 years old, 22 bred cows, Geronimo Ranch, Santa Fe, New Mexico, ex-quality black Angus cows, second and third trimester bred to Angus cows 8 to 10 years old. 123 calves, Mr. John Jackson, Lake Arthur, New Mexico, ex-quality 80% black white-face Angus crossbreds, cattle weaned 45 days, 2 rounds of shots, 350, 550 pounds. 97 calves, Hendricks beef, Flying H, New Mexico, ex-quality black Angus and Brangus crossbred calves, cattle weaned 75, 90 days, 1 round of shots, 375, 500 pounds. 70 heifer calves and light yearlings, Mr. Earl Baker, Van Horn, Texas, ex-quality black white-face, red white-face English crossbreds, cattle weaned 75, 90 days, 1 round of shots, 400, 650 pounds. 45 calves, Miss Lillian Gonzalez, Santa Rosa, New Mexico, ex-quality black Angus calves, Bowershield Gold 7-way, 375, 550 pounds. 27 calves, Los Adobes Ranch, Winston, New Mexico, ex-quality black Angus calves, cattle weaned 45 days, 1 round of shots, 400, 500 pounds. 28 calves, Maddox Hobbs here at Roswell, ex-quality black and red Angus crossbred calves, 1 round of shots, 550, 650 pounds. 29 calves and light yearlings, Mr. Pud Snyder, Ruidosa Downs, ex-quality black Angus, cattle weaned 90 days, Bowershield Gold 7-way, 450, 600 pounds. 88 calves and light yearlings, Mr. Ellie Hagglestein, Sanderson, Texas, good quality, 80% black white-face Brangus crosses, 350, 700 pounds. 30 calves, J.B. Runyon Ranch, Hope, New Mexico, ex-quality black Angus and Brangus crosses, 1 round of shots, 500, 600 pounds. 30 calves, Mr. Charlie Marley here north of Roswell, ex-quality black white-face Charolais crossbred calves, 1 round of shots, 400, 650 pounds. And 79 calves, the Ken Smith Inc., Hobbs, New Mexico, ex-quality 85% black white-face Angus crosses, shots at Brandon 275, 425 pounds. Sale time this morning 9 o'clock. Sell pairs, bred cows 10. Be selling calves and yearlings near 11 a.m. We expect to sell 2,000 head today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 47.2% of all statistics are made up on the spot. Is this true? I'd say chances are about 50%. Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us. And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Undersheriff for the Chaves County Sheriff's Department, Charles Eastlis, back with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you all?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That's the first time in 2025 I've talked to you here on the radio.
It has. It's been a busy month already.
So what's been like? I mean, I know because we just been like, it just seems like everything's from one to the other. It floods 1 minute and this and that, and it's like. Has there hit like a plateau of normalcy yet, where it's just regular garden variety, day-to-day sheriff's department business?
I don't know that we ever have a normal day or a normalcy day. About the time we catch our breath, we have something else, whether it's Mother Nature or some type of catastrophic event.
Right.
And not just in Chaves County, but around the globe.
Sure.
We just had we just saw that horrific accident the other day. Prayers for all those folks that
absolutely
in that plane crash, and helicopter collision.
It's so weird because I grew up in that area and all that, and so one of the stories that's kind of going out with that. I don't mean to crowbar, but it hit me, and I didn't know what was going on with it till this morning. I grew up in Maryland, Southern Maryland. That's where I was kind of born and raised, and this is Reagan National's right in D.C., and it's about 20 miles from where I grew up, right there. But I was seeing like this one of these heart memes with a bunch of people on it.
Yes.
And it was going around a bunch of my friends from back home in that area, and I was like, what is going on about this? And I was kind of thinking this maybe, it was related to that plane crash. So basically, there was a group of hunters, all from southern Maryland there, and they all came back from this hunting trip. All of them perished in that. And so, because at first I'm looking at the picture, and I ain't going to lie, I was like, did the cast Duck Dynasty die? Like all of them at once? Because they all kind of were in camo and hunting gear and all that. Right. And then I realized what it was, and it was a bunch of guys from basically my hometown that were on that plane.
Kind of hits home, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So you're right. That tragedies, that kind of stuff, and you know, you always and we kind of had our own version of that here this last year with maybe not as
catastrophic.
Well, or as sudden. Like a flood and things, you're like, all right, we got a little bit of warning in here. You know, that a plane crash is a plane crash. You're sitting there eating pancakes one minute, and next you're out and doing your thing. So,
you know, and one of the sad things, there's a lot of sad things about it, but you see all those youngsters that were on there that
the figure skaters.
They had a lot of life ahead of them, and you think to yourself, you know, how can these things, how do these folks go on?
Right.
And so, you know, again, they're in our prayers and in our thoughts. And something like that doesn't just affect the local area. It affects the United States. It affects the globe.
Just was curious. I know this is kind of getting philosophical, but from the law enforcement brain, like when you see these kinds of events on the news, you know, we as civilians, you know, you look a certain way in this.
Sure.
I'm curious. I imagine you look at it from a different brain because everything's logistics to you guys. It's like, how do we get from point A to point B? I mean, does your brain try to solve it yourself? Like you looking at it's okay, I need to get a hold of and do that. Exactly. I mean, is that how you're working when you see these kind of things? Or do you look different? Like, man, there's some guys that are going to be sitting in some freezing. You're seeing it from the first responders perspective.
From the logistics side.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny that you say that because when I first learned about it, I was at the sheriff's office, and we were in my office, and you know, I'm thinking, my gosh, you know, and so I start pulling up the information, and by then they had pictures, a few pictures out, but I mentioned to my criminal investigations lieutenant and my, you know, a couple other lieutenants, admin lieutenant, I said, can you imagine the logistics that are going to be involved in a catastrophic event like that? I mean, my gosh, you've got family that are going to be coming in. You have
absolutely.
You have, you know, they're trying to recover bodies,
and because of where it took place.
Yes.
And for folks that don't know, back east, it's a little different in that you know, like out here, you could drive 3 hours and still be in New Mexico. What I mean by that, where that plane crashed in the Potomac River. You've got Maryland, you've got D.C., you've got Virginia right there, and the feds.
Very populated area.
And the feds.
Yes.
So, and all four entities were sending chiefs to cover this thing. And so that's another wrinkle of who's in charge.
Who's going to call the shots?
Yeah.
Who's going to make sure this gets done?
And you know, my head, we all watch movies like Die Hard where the feds move in. They, you know, we think it's that way. Yeah. You know, I don't think it happens that way in real life.
It doesn't.
But I imagine at the same time they're still all right. Who's running this operation here? Or how many? Am I getting orders from six different people? What's going on?
And you know that's where you know you see a couple of different attitudes. You see the egotistical attitude where you know I'm going to run this, or you know this is going to be run this way or this way.
Sure.
But realistically, you have to. Every bit of the logistics are important, all the way down to recovering items.
Sure.
Whether you're on that detail or whether you're on the family notification detail or you're on the no matter what type of decision-making detail you're on, every bit of it is a puzzle piece. And it's just like the sheriff's office. Anytime something happens, I don't know if you've noticed, but when I post something, I like to give props to the deputy that did it or whatever happened, because the realization is that patrol is the meat and potatoes of an entity, and then you have your specialized divisions like criminal investigations, who have a puzzle piece. The admin has a puzzle piece. K-9 has a puzzle piece. All these puzzle pieces, but without all those pieces fitting together, you don't have a complete picture.
Gotcha.
And the complete picture is success, and the success is in the form of serving the community and making sure that we solve crimes, prevention, all these things. So back to one of those incidents, I could only imagine. To that magnitude, how many behind the scenes arguments there may be,
Sure.
or
well, and because there's so many different levels, because because it's an air crash.
NTSB.
Yeah, so you got the whole air side.
Yes.
It happened in the river, which means now you get the Navy and those sides
That's
involved. Right. And then just the garden variety people and land and every
law enforcement.
Yeah, so this has the perfect storm of everybody gets involved because it's the land, sea, and air of tragedies here.
It goes back to that Battle of the Badges.
Mm-hmm. But so I imagine it, depending on what part of the operation we're talking about, like when they're trying to pull stuff out of the water, you're probably getting your salvage, your Navy,
Absolutely.
people that are more in that.
divers.
Yeah. Whereas the stuff on land, whatever debris or whatever things they're dealing with there.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, that's probably, and now the fact that it's a Black Hawk helicopter there, I'm sure
the military
have their people in there doing their thing.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to take a stab. They're not going to be as sharing of information with the other law enforcement agents.
As transparent as the others.
Just going to take a hunch that what they're investigating, they ain't going to be sharing with FBI or anybody. Yeah.
What helicopter?
Yeah, they're talking to Grumman or whoever's out there.
That's
they're
it.
talking to their training.
It kind of goes back to that naked gun. Nothing to see here, folks.
Yeah,
nothing
right.
to see, and everything's blowing up behind him. Nothing to see.
It's
Carry on.
the black powder factory going up behind him.
Yeah, everything's blowing
fireworks
up.
and nothing to see.
Nothing to see. Carry on.
Yeah.
But it's last year, unfortunately, this year seems to be starting out at that pace. Last year was unbelievable.
Sure.
Like I said, here locally, by the time we had time to catch our breath, we were off to the races with something else.
I would imagine too, though, where the positive that comes through all this is
the working together.
And at the end of the day, I think you're going to have a better sheriff's department.
Absolutely.
Especially the deputies that maybe this was their first year.
Yes.
And
fresh out of the academy.
They learned a lot in this first year, and that's going to make them better deputies this year and next year and the year after that.
Absolutely.
And so you got to look at it, and sometimes that way is it's what doesn't kill you makes you stronger mindset. Right. It is really sometimes iron sharpens iron, and
that's
really.
Right.
Events like this test the mettle of our first responders, and when they come out on the other side, they're going to be better first responders.
Wide-eyed,
yes,
but they're going to be better.
And so that's if you want to put a blessing on some of this, that's part of that. If there is,
I tell people all the time, and my father was an educator before he retired for the school district, and he was an administrator. He was a principal, and he's always after me to finish my degree, and I'm working on that, but. What I tell people is you can't buy experience. And that is and not that you're just buying a degree, but the reality is we can sit here and what if everything, but when something actually happens, that's when you get the invaluable training.
And I think at the beginning, like in the conceptual of all of it, like the training gets you to the point where you can start experiencing.
Yes.
Where it's like for law enforcement, yes, you go to the academy and they're going to teach you the rights and wrongs. But the feels, that side of the job that when things don't smell right, feel right, tingles, all that, that there's only one place you learn that, and that's doing the job. It's no different, and that's in any profession.
That's right.
Whether you're a lawyer in a courtroom or a chef in a kitchen,
that's right.
Or whatever that is, it's
everyone has that gut feeling and that sixth sense, if you want to call it.
Something that you just what makes you what you do at that thing, and so. You're absolutely right. And please, don't, like you said, the training is important, but and so yes, get that. But you need it in concert because it's just like there's a reason why a police officer graduates from police academy. They don't say, "Here's the keys, here's a car, good luck to you." There's a reason they don't do
when
that.
Your training just begins.
Exactly. It's now you know the rules.
Yes.
Let's show you how to be a cop.
Yes.
That's kind of what it is. In my head, and maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're 100%.
Police Academy showing you how to be a cop.
They give you the foundation.
Or show you the rules, show you what the game basically.
That's right.
And once you're a cop, now you learn how to play the game.
That's right. Well, this is my 26th year doing this job, and I tell people the police academy builds the foundation. Mm-hmm. Without them, there wouldn't be a solid structure to be on.
Right.
And then when you get out throughout your career, you're building walls. You're building walls, and you're building rooms. Mm-hmm. And your goal is to build this successful building, and that is your career.
Right.
That is your. And you want that. The more, we've all heard, the more keys you have on your key ring, the more doors it opens. Well, that's the realization, and
Sure.
that's what you want.
Well,
and to be a well-rounded, this is just like anything else. They're not just police officers or deputies. They're counselors. They're mediators. Sometimes they're referees.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
they're pals. They're
exactly.
friends. They're
sometimes they're the bad
protectors.
guy.
Sometimes they're the bully if they have to be. Yeah.
They're given in this business. This is why I hold this business dear to my heart. There is no other profession, in my opinion, like it in the world. This is a business where you're entrusted to serve the public, and you're going into this knowing that not everybody's going to be happy. Whenever you have two people arguing, there's not going to be a winner.
You're catching
and a
everybody at their
Sure.
worst,
But you just try to do the best you can and mediate. And you're given. You have to remember who you are and where you came from. It's important to stay grounded.
Sure.
Be available to the public. Visit with the public. I run into people at Walmart, and a trip to Walmart may take me 2 hours if I'm getting one thing. But I enjoy it. I love it. I love visiting, and that's what it's about.
But and this is where this policing, and this is where, since Sheriff Mike Harrington, yourself, ever since you guys have been kind of in charge at the department here, and I know before too.
Sure.
It's always been that the most important aspect of our job is that relationship with the community.
That's right.
You can only police a community if you're working in concert with the community.
That's right.
You cannot, because you can't solve cases. You can't do anything without the support of the community.
That's exactly it.
And I've seen it firsthand. Where you personally have come up on a call or something, and in a situation where people are a little tense and everything, and you just kind of come in, and I'll tell you this right now. Like you have people that know you, and that was one of those situations. They were being unruly. You walk up and because you have that rapport with them and understanding, and they look to you as an asset, not a liability.
That's it.
You can make headway where other people can't, and that's the part of policing you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Is that area where because you've seen them at their worst, you've done them good in previous encounters and done them
yourself.
That cements that, and
right.
when the next thing happens, and unfortunately with these types of individuals, that's pretty common.
Yes.
It hopefully is a less. Everyone walks away from it. No one gets hurt, and everyone comes in. And so that's the goal. Is sometimes you're not even solving this case. You're preventing the next one.
That's exactly it. And without that relationship, there is no prevention, and there is no success. And it's important to be available. It's important to just talk to people and answer their questions.
Sure.
Be available for the questions. It's important to have the boots on the ground. One of the things that I think is critical is that when I look at demographics, for example, or different functions, I'm very fortunate because everyone knows I'm a car guy, a motorcycle guy, so one weekend you may see me at a car show with an oldie car. The next weekend you may see me at a motorcycle rally. Next weekend you may see me down at the courthouse. The next weekend you might see me in a suit and tie at a function for Leadership New Mexico,
Sure.
I'm alumni of. So, it's different things, but the reality is
sometimes you got your veteran's hat on doing veteran stuff.
Well, I'm not a veteran, but I do help them.
Yeah.
And so I'm a member of the Sons of the Veterans.
Sure, there you go.
And so,
that's what I meant.
So absolutely. So it's one of those things where you have to be yourself.
Sure.
You cannot put on this charade, and people aren't.
People see through that.
They do. They do, and it's an insult to do them that way.
Sure.
Real quick, one of the things talking about,
and this is kind of where I was going to segue here is with community policing and being a part of that community. You guys, the Sheriff's Department's been really working on creating some new programs, some new opportunities.
I'm very happy and very proud of those.
Kind of get the community involved, but even a chance to where you get to see what sheriffs Yes. What law enforcement's like? What is the job like? What it's about? Right. So talk a little bit about what you guys are cooking up here.
One of the things that I'm very, very proud of and very happy with is I have been working on for the past several years a police. Basically, it's a citizens academy.
Gotcha.
Very similar to a police explorer program, but for grown-ups.
Gotcha.
So
now you and I are around the same age.
Yes. Don't give them the age. Just
around the same age. But I will say this.
Same age, that's right.
You were aware of this movie as much as I'm aware of this movie.
Probably.
How much of this is going to be like Police Academy?
Citizens on Patrol.
Citizens on Patrol. Was that 3? Was that 3, I think?
I think that was part 3. Yes. I think that, yeah.
All right. Make that as our comparison. How much like it or not like it is that?
We want to avoid the high points of that movie.
You're not going to be running around
have fun like that.
breaking up gangs and things like that.
We're not going to drop you off in the middle of a riot.
Right.
Let's put it that way and expect you to do, at the same time, you're not going to be sitting in a donut shop with a car blowing up behind you. And, so it's I anticipate it to be a real eye-opening experience.
Gotcha.
But my goal is to inform the public what we do behind those doors.
Sure.
And why it takes sometimes a little longer for a criminal investigation, or why we can't just take a hair and put it in this magic box and it tells us by the end of the episode.
Sure.
Who the bad guy is.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem is you're fighting TV because everyone thinks,
exactly.
Look, I saw Sipowicz solve this sucker in 55 minutes, man. What's up?
Exactly. So there's going to be, it'll be 8. I created it to be 8 sessions or eight classes. There'll be approximately 3 hours apiece.
Gotcha.
And it will. My plan is right now, if everything stays on point, is to launch it on May the 3rd.
Okay.
So there will be an application
Sure, want to push
process.
a day and get the Star Wars kids involved?
There you go. May the 4th be with you. That's right. That's right. Well, I would, they'll start showing up with their lightsabers and all.
Well, you don't want to impose on their day.
Right. I got to give them that.
Cops on the 3rd, Star Wars on the 4th.
That's right. And I'm a Star Wars fan. I when they started coming out with all these other ones, I was lost.
Yeah.
I always have to go back to the original Star Wars.
Yeah, Disney Plus got me
Empire Strikes
confused.
Back.
There's like 60 different spin-offs. I'm like,
yeah, and then they go back.
Yeah.
The next spinoff may be, it came out after, 20, 30 years after, but it's supposed to be before.
This one's between Empire Strikes Back and The Return, but before this, and you're like, whoa.
Return of the Jedi 3.4.
Exactly, yeah, I'm not that nerd, but yes, I think you and I are same level there. It's
yes,
like,
absolutely.
We love Yoda as much as the next guy, but we're not that in the weeds.
I can live without it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, but each session will be, there'll be a session on fingerprinting,
Gotcha.
and the public, the.
I imagine that technology
They'll get to
changed the
fingerprint
most.
something.
Yeah. Like, because I remember as kids, because you and I are the kids' age where they started like doing fingerprinting for, kidnappings and to get your kids. And, it's the ink pads and all that stuff. Now, I'm sure that's still available and maybe used on occasion. Right. But I feel like with the computer age, it's
unbelievable.
Like, I don't think people have to clean all the black stuff off their fingers anymore.
Who would have thought that you could get a fingerprint off of a body?
Yeah, I would imagine. You could probably
and that's been
lift
for several years now.
They can lift it off pretty much.
It wasn't when you and I were police explorers.
All I could think of is those guys around throwing dust on everything, trying to go, oh, look, on the glass, there's a part of our print.
Well, all I remember are the motorcycles.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a motorcycle guy. The motorcycles, Chips, Ponch and John.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's where TV took over for us as well. Andy Griffith, SWAT, all those shows from back in the 80s, 70s, without giving away our age
very
too much,
long ago.
Born in the 70s, raised in the 80s.
I think they could kind of figure it out.
90s.
I think we kind of outed our ages based on this conversation.
Yeah. We're 50 plus.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. We're
50 and some change.
That's
How's
right.
that?
AARP is reaching out to us.
They're knocking on our door. We're just not going to answer. But that's one of the programs that I have coming up. I have a couple of others, and that's what I.
But knowledge is power when it's stuff, and this is so you get to really see. And it gives because when at the end of the day we talk about the relationship between the community and the police and how all of this has to mesh to work for this thing to work.
Yes.
And the thing that you need to realize and how that is achieved is by understanding everybody's perspective.
That's right.
Now, as law enforcement folks, they're human beings. I'm going to say, imagine almost every sheriff's deputy can relate to a situation when they're out on a call and somebody's having they've had something in their own personal lives, maybe similar, if not spot on what's going on at that particular moment. However, the other side is the community sees what's going on there. They don't understand necessarily what a police officer sometimes can and cannot do, what's bound and what they're legally allowed to do.
And what's civil.
Yeah, and so where is that line where they can go? And so these kinds of programs really allow you to understand that. You say, okay, so and to be honest, the next time you get pulled over or something, you're going to notice things. You're going to be like,
you're going to understand why.
That's why they do it that way.
Exactly. Yeah. And one of the key things is we have a simulator, and something that we're very proud of, and we obtained about a year and a half ago, and we put the deputies through it.
I've seen online some little small windows of some of the deputies going through it, and and every one of them have said it'll
very realistic.
It'll put a bead of sweat on you.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
And so there'll be a couple of sessions where the Citizens Academy goes through that.
Gotcha.
And we'll put them in not necessarily no-win situations, but in decision-making situations.
But it's the best way to get you to see exactly the mindset of an officer without the possibility of actually you getting killed.
Yes. The decision that has to be made in 5 seconds or less, and then is torn apart over the next 2 to 3 years, where we're in a controlled environment.
But that's what makes you think. And this is really, for the officers, this is the stuff they weigh when those moments happen. When it's I'm pulling out the gun, what's going to happen next? And those training scenarios that they've done hundreds and thousands of times in very different ways, that's how they come to these decisions. Unfortunately, when you get in a situation like if there's an armed suspect with a hostage and all that, there's not a lot of positive end outcomes.
What you see on the movies isn't accurate.
Put it this way, you're behind the 8 ball on any. So any win where everyone walks away is a win.
And that's the goal. The goal is the reason why we believe in community policing and prevention is because if we stay reactive, we're always going to be behind the curve.
Absolutely.
We have to wait until the action, and then we have that reaction. It falls under SIPDE: scan, identify, predict, decide, and execute the action. Well, realistically, you want to obtain and be able to do those things within three seconds.
Sure.
And you think, okay, how do I do all that? Well, realistically, it's through situational awareness.
Gotcha.
Scan, identify, predict. That's called situational awareness.
Absolutely.
Looking around, paying attention. And I'm guilty of it, just like the next person, of getting tunnel vision and someone come up, hey, what's going on? Oh, scared me to death.
And I've explained this, this was my experience when I did the ride-along a couple years ago. This was that's the moment where I realized, this is why I'm not a deputy versus other. Because I was literally, we were down in the south end and we're going down through the alleys there, and the deputy, he's driving, I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and we're going down the alley, and he's going to check in on, there was a homeless man that was kind of leaning up against a fence, just doing a welfare check, saying, hey, you need some water, you okay? Just kind of, doing his thing there. And as we drive down the alley, and the guy sitting there, the cop tells me, he goes, stay in the car. He says, 2 more over there. There's 1 back here. And I was like, what now?
In the dark.
Yeah. And he spotted out for me. And sure enough, when he came out and talked to him, 6 more dudes come out and start walking. And now, cop, again, because of the relationships, knew everybody. Everything's kosher. No. But I missed all of that. I was just sitting there going,
enjoying the ride.
Big poop-eating grin just sitting there.
Well, and if you ever watch officers talk to each other, it looks like they're doing a dance because they're constantly rotating their body, and it's training. They're doing it unconsciously, but they're constantly blading their body and just talking in a circle.
Sure.
And it's kind of funny to watch sometimes.
Interesting.
But it's human nature.
It's them.
It's this business.
Observing and assessing what's going on at that particular moment. So.
But you have to find that happy medium where not everybody is a criminal, not everybody's a suspect. You can't live as a robot. You have to have that situational awareness, but be yourself.
Exactly. That's the rub for being a police officer. When do you turn that off? Like,
Right.
when do you're at a day at the park?
You have
know
to
what
find
I mean?
that happy medium.
And this is the struggle with, keeping law enforcement. Some individuals have trouble dealing with some of that stuff. And that's why, and by the way, if you're looking for a career in law enforcement, Sheriff's
We
Department's
are hiring.
always hiring and taking
we
applications.
have 4 positions available,
Excellent.
and we plan on filling those pretty quick.
But be warned, this is not for everyone. This is a career
Right.
field. If you love to serve, if you've got the server's heart, if you have the ability to be calm when things aren't calm, that is a very valuable trait in
we
skill
tell
set.
people, if you don't like being off for the holidays,
Mhm.
if you don't
Yeah.
like having a normal sleep pattern, if you like being woke up in the middle of the night
Mhm.
because the phone's ringing, this is the job for you. but it's also a rewarding job.
But exactly, it's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. It's kind
I
of
love
like,
this job.
it's not, there ain't middle ground in anything
right.
here. It's like it's 0 and then it's 100,
Yes.
and then it's back to 0 again. Rarely is it 30.
That's exactly right. And realistically, 99% of the time, it's 0.
Right.
It's that 1% to 100 that'll give you the
Well,
heart
it has to
attack
happen once to be enough. You know
That's
what I mean?
exactly right.
You work a 12-hour shift. If I'm doing 0, 0, 0 for 11 of those hours, but 100 for one,
Murphy's Law.
that's enough.
Yeah, Murphy's Law. It's going to happen 15 minutes before you get off.
Absolutely.
And it's your it's your daughter's birthday. On my daughter's 16th
Right.
birthday, I was serving a warrant on an escapee. And so, those are the types of things that you can never go back, but you try and make up.
Sure.
And you can't ever make them up, but the realization is it's something that is always there in your mind.
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely.
And
it's the job that
it's the highs and lows.
And this is the law enforcement job, is even when you take the uniform off at the end of the day, you're still a law enforcement. It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
It is. This is a career. This is a lifestyle. It's as much as anything.
That's right. And this message goes out to the law enforcement community. There is nothing wrong with talking to people.
Mhm.
We see this all the time. We are type A personalities. We are, when we show up on scene, we're the boss. And it has to be that way because we have to mitigate and decide and
Mhm.
figure out what's going on and then solve it for that situation.
Yep.
So, all this is compartmentalized. It's internalized, and throughout years and throughout time, you can't just put it in the box and close the door
Mhm.
in the back of your mind. That box is eventually going to spill over. So it's important. It doesn't show, and again, this goes out to my law enforcement community and everything. It doesn't show weakness talking to somebody, visiting with somebody, whatever the case may be.
Right.
Unfortunately, what we see oftentimes is people will, and not just in this job, but in a stressful job, will turn to alcohol.
Mhm.
They'll turn to a substance or something that will make them forget
A Band-Aid,
about it.
yeah.
But remember, it's still there. It's just going to make you forget about it till tomorrow.
And I know because I understand the a little bit, just from my life in the military and stuff. I understand
Yes.
what makes people good at what to do these things. Also makes them bad at other aspects of
That's right.
life. It's no different in like an artist.
You are
what
no
makes
good to the public if you don't take care of yourself.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I
that's it.
look at. It's like, look, before you got on a shift, I bet you make sure your gun is clean, serviceable, and if you need to pull it out and work, it's
Our
going to
guy's
work.
better.
Or you're going to make sure that your pepper spray's full, and when you need to pull it out, it ain't empty.
Right.
You're going to make sure that you have 100 pairs of gloves in your vehicle at all times. So when you got to put on 57 gloves, and of course you've got them.
Sure.
Do the same thing for your brain. Do the same thing
That's
for your
exactly
mental
right.
health. You got to, if you are out there trying to make people's lives better, how the hell are you supposed to do that if you got a soup sandwich going on up
Exactly.
there yourself?
You have to have clarity, and you have to be able to make those decisions without something weighing on the back of your mind
Yep.
or in your mind, and that's what's going to get you hurt.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate, but we're all humans.
Yep.
And humans, I tell people, and I've learned to practice what I preach more than now that I'm getting older.
And
we're like a cell phone.
But we
You have
talked
to
at the beginning
recharge.
with experience.
Yes.
Experience changes you.
It does.
And it can change you for the worse depending on what that experience is.
Yes.
And in law enforcement, it is very easy to get jaded, to get negative. When you're dealing with nothing but negative all day, when you go home at the end of the day, it's hard to see the positive in things when all you've been
punches
doing is the worst of everything.
Keep rolling throughout the day, and exactly. And you want to
so you
find
have
a
to be
place
careful of that.
relax.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's important to it's very important to communicate. It's very important to communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of programs out there. Bless the Badge, one of our sergeants is a big supporter in that, and I think they're going to be going to Florida here towards the 1st of February. But these programs are out there for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't show weakness. It doesn't show. It shows that you care about yourself as well.
To me, it's part of the training.
It is.
Like to me, this should be incorporated in your training, just like your range time is to make sure you're proficient at shooting, or your whatever tests and certifications you got to re-up for every so many years or whatever. It's no different than that.
And for years, we were treated or expected to be like a robot. Judge Dredd, or whatever the case may, I find you guilty,
Sure.
whatever the case may be.
No emotion, no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now, even the academy and legislators and people, people have always looked at it, and now they've implemented, the mental health well-being of law enforcement, the emotional health well-being, and so it's learning to take care of yourself. And like I said before, I had to start practicing what I preach, both through physical fitness, through losing some weight, and getting back to a healthier.
Like us, you and I are both the same age, and so what you were taught when you were in the police academy versus what they're teaching at the police academy now is probably night and day different.
It is,
and because we've evolved,
it is.
It's the same thing with doctors. You think what doctors learned in medical school 20 years ago is the same kind of stuff they're learning right now? I guarantee it's not.
Nope.
And it's
You
no
have to
different in
evolve
any
with the
other.
times.
Exactly. Look at your kid's classroom. Remember what it looked like when you were a kid? Look what it looks like now. It looks nothing the same.
Well, and
this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, and it goes back to grandparents too.
Mm.
I laugh at it because I would often tell my kids, that's not the same person that I grew up with.
Right.
That person washed my mouth out with soap.
Right.
And
now
so
they just
I have PTSD with the Dove soap bar now because of
now
Mom.
you could punch him in the face, he'd still laugh it off.
Oh, that's okay. You know what?
Right.
We need to get this kid some boxing gloves. Right. Let's go buy you, a little boxing outfit.
Yep.
And it's, but it's.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this year. I'm really excited for the upcoming programs. That's just one of the programs. I'm trying to put together a schedule. Again, if you didn't see it, we were out leveling headstones and things like that. So
out of memory lawn, yeah.
Yes, so I'm going to be in contact with Lee again,
Okay.
and we're going to get that, kicked off to at least one Saturday a month.
Excellent.
I think is good. And
always looking for volunteers want to
yes.
come out, and love to bring families when we do those things, because it's a history lesson as much as it is a service.
For us, we spent a third of our time reading how old some of those headstones. And I have friends and family out there, and I never knew that there were some back in the middle 1800s.
Oh yeah,
and then you start Googling. And
I mean, it's in the big scope. You're like, I'm looking at graves, and it's a little morbid,
Right.
but the other side is
There's
like
history to that.
It's so much history and so much, and at the end of the day, that's why it's here.
That's right.
To remember those that have been forgotten,
Yes.
and it's a reminder of that.
Yes, and we have more history here in Chaves County than people believe.
Oh yeah.
Pat Garrett ran for sheriff in the first election here in Chaves County and lost.
Well, and guess what? During the Lincoln County War, this was Lincoln County.
This was Lincoln County.
Yeah. After was when
it was annexed to Chaves County.
Yeah, when they broke it up into Chaves.
February 5th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
1889.
So when you watch them Young Gun movies and all that, guess what? That's your backyard.
We were the territory.
That's right. Guys like Chisholm, when they're going, that's out this way, Roswell
that's
area.
Right.
Yeah,
that's it's really neat. If you're driving back just from Ruidoso, look at the markers on the side of the road. If you've never stopped, take a minute, stop and read them.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are always, I want to go to Florida. I want to go to California.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of history here that
Absolutely.
I've never even had the opportunity to look at.
The one that it kind of hit me. Oh man, we have time. I don't have to do it. Dang it! I just saw it's 9 o'clock. So we got. I'll tell you off air here, but we got to go here. But
not a problem.
Please reach out. Give out the website for if you're interested in applying or anything more about Sheriff's
Just go to the
Department.
Chaves County website. You click on applications. We're always advertising. Again, we have 4 positions available now. We plan on filling those in the very near future. If you're interested in this job, come out, sign up for a ride-along. We'd be happy to have you. Do a simple background, make
Absolutely.
sure that you're not wanted or anything, and put you in a car and let you see kind of what we deal with on a day-to-day
I
basis.
highly recommend. If you're interested in a career, sign up for a ride-along. It'll be an eye-opening experience. As one who's done it personally, you will learn a lot about your city that way.
Yes, absolutely. And real quick, I told you before on Saturdays, try to plan something for Saturdays. Next Saturday, we're going to be going out and dropping off boxes. One box is equal to 1 week of food for one individual. And they were dispersed during the floods, and they gave us a huge amount. Gave me a huge amount.
Okay.
And so I have a lot of those, and I'm not going to let them just sit there and rot and go to waste. So the deputies are going to have them in their cars.
Okay.
I'll have them in my truck. We're going to be going out, and anywhere we see homeless, walking, doing anything, we're going to stop and give them a box.
Excellent.
And I have plenty. I bet I've got 60 boxes.
Okay.
So if you know
People in
anywhere
need.
that they're living under a bridge or whatever, shoot me a text, shoot me an email, charles.eastless@chavezcounty.com, and or chavezcounty.gov. I apologize. And let us know. Yep,
Excellent.
.gov.
Yeah, it's called
Can't forget
Sheriff's
the
Department. Yeah, it's all Gov. Excellent.
Yeah.
Love that. So hopefully. Well, thank you guys. Tell every
Absolutely.
deputy. God bless them. We appreciate
Absolutely.
everything
Thank
they
you for
do.
your
And
support.
we'll see you
Thanks
guys
for
next
having us.
time. And stay safe,
Stay warm.
And stay cool
Yes.
this weekend. Now we
Oh,
got
yes.
70s and 80s. Stay cool.
70s and 80s this weekend. Can you imagine what July, we talked about it. Can you imagine what July is going to be?
Yeah. Well, I imagine with the weather being nice this weekend, might be a
Yes.
little bit more frivolous out there in the streets.
You may see some cars out, motorcycles out. You might see some people enjoying it.
Sun's out, guns out kind of thing.
That's right.
Thank you, sir, as
Absolutely.
always. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you for having me.
9:01, you're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico. News in progress.
Recent analysis by S&P Global Commodity reveals a significant decline in methane emissions from oil and gas production operations in the Permian Basin. This covers the year 2023. The firm says it's a testament to the industry's ability to innovate and adapt and companies' commitment to stewardship. Methane, a potent greenhouse gas, has long been a target for emission reduction efforts. The S&P analysis shows that the decline in methane emissions from the Permian Basin is equivalent to the annual carbon emissions avoided by every electric vehicle on the road in the United States. The so-called Carlsbad Man Camp is now under new ownership. The 800-bed facility serves as a temporary shelter for oil field workers as they complete drilling and other extraction efforts in the region. Corporate Hospital Services recently acquired the Carlsbad Lodge. It also operates similar facilities in Midland, Odessa, Pecos, Orla, Big Spring, Loving, and Jow. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. It was a victory for Roswell on Friday night as the Coyotes played their second boys basketball district game. Roswell defeats Carlsbad 47-44. The Coyotes 17-5 overall, 1-1 in district play. They will host Clovis next Friday night for their next outing. Meanwhile, it's a split for Goddard over the weekend, losing at Portales. District opener for the Rockets, and a tough Portales team wins 54-38. But then Goddard bounces back on Saturday and wins at NMMI 39-36. The Rockets are 8-12. They'll host Lovington tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, Hagerman is now 11-5 overall, 2-1 in district play after winning Saturday against Loving. Final score 64-41 for the Bobcats. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. U.S. inflation increased by the most in 8 months in December amid robust consumer spending on goods and services, suggesting the Federal Reserve would probably be in no hurry to resume cutting interest rates soon. U.S. consumers will face even higher costs for meat, vegetables, and fruit because of Donald Trump's tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports. Economists and food industry executives predict consumers have struggled with high inflation since the COVID-19 pandemic and voted for Donald Trump in part due to discontent with higher prices. Nissan Motor is offering buyouts to workers and cutting back shifts at 3 U.S. factories as the automaker pushes to slash $2.6 billion in costs globally. Walgreens shares sank Friday, a day after the drugstore chain said it was suspending its dividend, breaking a streak of quarterly shareholder payouts that stretches back more than 90 years. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
The great one, Mark Levin, is now in Roswell on 106.5 KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News coming up in just a few seconds. Stay tuned next hour. We're going to replay our interview we had with the folks from American Legion Post 61 talking about their event coming up on the 7th. That's coming up next hour. Town Hall News next. We'll be back.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Short-term pain for long-term gain. That's how President Trump is casting his newly imposed tariffs on goods from Canada, Mexico, and China. The tariffs to take effect tomorrow. Mr. Trump acknowledging Americans could pay more for products as a result. Wall Street opened sharply lower this morning on fears of an all-out trade war. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on his first visit to Washington in several years. He'll meet tomorrow with President Trump at the White House.
The fact that this would be President Trump's first meeting with a foreign leader since his inauguration is telling. I think it's a testimony to the strength of the Israeli-American alliance. It's also a testimony to the strength of our personal friendship.
Among other things, Prime Minister says they'll discuss victory over Hamas and achieving a release of all of the hostages being held by Hamas. Searchers have recovered the remains of most of the 67 people killed in the mid-air collision near Reagan National Airport. Today, crews start lifting wreckage of the plane from the Potomac River.
This is D.C. Fire Chief John Donnelly.
So far, 55 victims have been positively identified from this aircraft, or from this accident.
Colonel Francis Perro with the Army Corps of Engineers says there is a precise operation going on.
And should any remains be found during our process, an automatic work stoppage happens, and we will definitely begin the proper coordination with the appropriate authorities.
Perro says the aircrafts will be loaded onto flatbed trucks and taken for further investigation. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Anti-deportation protesters waved Mexican and other foreign flags at demonstrations in Southern California, Texas, and New York over the weekend, castigating President Trump for his crackdown on illegal immigration. Wall Street, the Dow is down 636 points, NASDAQ off 394. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
The European Union condemning what it calls a brutal crackdown on peaceful protests in the former Soviet Republic of Georgia, where pro-democracy demonstrations have been spreading across the country.
The EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said the actions of Georgia's government, led by the strongly nationalist Georgian Dream Party, fell short of all expectations of an EU candidate country. A journalist in the capital, Tbilisi, reported a new round of what she called arbitrary and violent arrests in the small hours of Monday. 2 protesters were reportedly beaten and taken to hospital with concussion and fractures. Earlier, 2 opposition leaders were detained. There have been nightly demonstrations since November, after Georgian Dream said it had won elections and suspended EU accession talks.
The BBC's Charles Haviland. At least 15 people killed, dozens wounded today. A car bomb went off on the outskirts of a northern Syrian city. Blast occurred next to a vehicle that was carrying farm workers. News and analysis, townhall.com. Some experts are warning of a downside to concierge health care.
Direct primary care is a very popular health care option. Patients pay a fee of roughly $50 to $100 a month and get easier direct access to their doctor for routine care as often as they want at no extra cost. However, public health officials say they do not think of direct primary care as a replacement for insurance. That's because the monthly fee covers nothing beyond the visits. Jason Walker reporting.
Jury selection begins today in Minneapolis for the trial of the alleged ringleader of a scheme to exploit the COVID pandemic. Prosecutors say $250 million was stolen from a program designed to feed children. The attorney for Amy Bach, the founder of a group that prosecutors say was at the heart of the scheme, insists that she's innocent of any wrongdoing. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The traveler said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Dados.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Monday, everybody.
Yes. The start of all things new. Happy February.
Yes. And
Countdown is on to V-Day, Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
If, fellas, if you have a lady and you're going to pull a successful Valentine's Day out of your keister, you might want to stand up.
Yeah?
They're going to know if you got it from a gas station. That's all I'm saying. I never understood, like, who is that for? Like, when you're, it always happens when you're at the Allsup's or the Stripes or whatever. You're just standing there waiting to pay for your Snyder's of Hanover pretzels and your gas. And next to you is a heart-shaped bouquet of the fakest flowers you've ever seen. And, like, a badger holding a heart that says, me and you. I'm like, dude, if that's where your relationship is right now, it's over, Johnny.
Well, it depends on where you're at in life. Like if you're a teenager, maybe you can get away with it. Certain, and to be honest, I can also see them playing a part in a thing.
Okay.
Like if you're trying to set up a whole thing,
yeah,
then you might go a little cheesy with it. And that's not
now. Okay, I understand that if you guys are doing like a theme, thing or whatever, be like, let's just get each other gas station. But even then, it's like gas station Valentine's presents. You know what you are.
And guys don't learn from other guys.
No,
they literally have to do the same dumb thing to get the message, because they'll see their boys do the same thing and see how that works out, and they say, yeah, but that ain't me. They don't have my riz. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel dirty that you unironically said it, though.
See, I could hang.
I could dance. I can play this game. Now, and I understand that, but I'll give you an example. Even you say that, that men don't learn, or teenagers or whatever. When I was a kid, a mere child of, like, I want to say 6th grade, maybe, yes, probably 5th or 6th grade, I was trying to woo a young lady around Valentine's Day, I believe. And even I knew not to get her a gas station present. I had my mom take me to the mall, and I got her something from the Disney store. I mean, you have to know to take that extra step.
But you also...
How'd that work out for you, Sean? Well, I mean, single now. So.
You and I come from a different brain than other dudes.
It's true.
Some dudes walk in rooms and women swoon. We are not those people.
We are not those gentlemen.
So those guys can get away with anything.
I feel a special level of jealousy for those people, too. It's like, oh, you get to just be a scumbag.
That's right. Some people just walk in a room and they're dreaming.
Because you're swarthy.
Yeah. And they could literally say the dumbest thing and people still eat it up.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
We do not. We lack that Riz.
Those people can buy the gas station candy.
Yeah.
And be just fine.
Yeah, I guess. And I know that she's going to say, oh, let's not do anything. Or I know that she's going to appreciate anything you get her.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know.
And then it's the other end of the spectrum. It's the, I'm just going through the motions. Here's your stupid candy. Good night.
It always...
Let's go eat a steak and be done with it.
It never ceases to amaze me that the question still exists today when women ask men, what do you want for Valentine's Day? You know the answer to that question. It ranges from nothing to you know.
Right.
Just somewhere in that range. That's all it has to be.
Yep.
You could acknowledge my existence or other fun things.
And plus, here's the other part too. And this is a guy-centric way of thinking.
No.
On this one. I'm not saying 100%, but when this statement comes out of people's mouths, 9 times out of 10, it's from a dude. And that statement is Valentine's Day is not a real holiday anyway. It's a trumped up, marketing ploy to get you to spend money between tax season.
It's one of those hallmark holidays. And yes, you're absolutely right. I don't think I've ever heard a woman say that. Unless, of course, they're trying to downplay that,
Sure.
I don't want to make a big deal out of it.
Right, yeah, like, yeah. You don't give me anything. I don't want this. It's the man. Whatever.
There's another holiday around then. It's Singles Awareness Day.
Yeah, sad day.
Yeah. Yep. It's, I believe, the 15th.
Kim and I had a friend. It was her friend, and by default, my friend later.
Yeah.
But she had a T-shirts made up for her Singles Awareness Day.
Nice.
She's happily married and has kids now. But back then, she was single and aware and had a day and T-shirts. And I think they did a day of like self-pampering or something.
Well, there's always like the Galentines or Palentines or those fun ones.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of trumped up alternatives.
You said trumped up now twice within
Did I?
like a minute and a half. Yeah.
Not intentional. Not intentional. But like, I love the concept of Friendsgiving. Just don't call it Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
Just saying I'm having some friends over for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. But it is a weird combination of words, admittedly.
I just don't like the
Because it's like
the marketing.
Friendsgiving what?
Concept fine, marketing behind it, god awful. Hate it.
I laugh, but I will be attending a Friendsgiving this year again, as I usually do.
Attend away. Just don't call them that. It's just Thanksgiving. Be thanks you have friends.
This is what happens when your best friend is a live, laugh, love person. You tend to get kind of cliche things.
I know. Well, you know me. If there is decor with any kind of wording in my house, it's not because of me. If you ever see me ever again living by myself where I have to decor my own establishment, you will never see words on my pictures or anything. I do not. I hate words.
Yeah.
I don't even like letters. Like when people put a big S or a big W or whatever. No, I'm out. Don't want nothing to do with that.
You're that anti-education, huh?
Not education.
My wife's a teacher. I get it enough as it is.
Just to decorate my world, I don't really need to see that. You know?
Guys don't tend to buy their decorations for their home from the Hobby Lobby.
And I'm not a big inspirer by quotes and things. You're not going to get me all fired up by quotes.
But that's the beauty of being married. You don't have to.
But I'm just not that by nature.
Sure.
Like some people, like they read the self-help books and they do, and now I'm so motivated. That's not what drives me.
Yeah.
That's not how I could read those all day and you're not going to get me to run through a wall after.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I will say there is artwork up in my home.
Yeah.
And it was not put there by me.
That's what I'm saying.
Some of it was, but most of it came when I was still married.
Yeah, that's not my thing. Hope.
Men are practicality, not beauty. Does it work? Good.
I mean, if I'm going to do this, I might as well put funny words. Poop. Fart.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be better, in my opinion. At least I giggle every time I walk around. He's got poop on the wall.
But.
I mean, that's the way I'm behind it. So. All right, let's get our interview going. We had an interview with the folks from American Legion Post 61 last week, talking about Fort Chaplain ceremony and just giving us an update here. So we're going to play that here in just a bit. But first, your weather. 6 more weeks of winter coming by. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. We have an extremely quiet weather pattern settling in this week, and it will be fairly warm. Abundant sunshine for today with highs Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia sneaking up to the low 80s. We're settling down to the low 40s for tonight and a few more low to mid 80s. Moving in for tomorrow with lots of sunshine. Highs are up between 80 and 85 for Wednesday with dry weather, and then by Thursday we're dipping down into the upper 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Thank you, Jennifer. Currently 44 degrees, or double sailboats, as a former news director used to say when he saw that. Humidity is at 51%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny today and 83 are high. Enjoy that. 6 more weeks of winter. Winds out are calm. Out of the southeast at around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight. Looking at an overnight low of 40. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Sunny and 81 tomorrow. Winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. 38 and mostly clear for Tuesday night with overnight low of 38. Southwest winds, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunny on Wednesday. Highs once again right around 80. West winds 5 to 10. Thursday, sunny and 78 for a high. Then Friday, back to sunny skies with a high near 80. 79 and sunny on Saturday, and then for Super Bowl Sunday, we do drop down to 59 and sunny. So near 60, a little cooler for Sunday. All right, it is, let me go back. Sorry, I got a computer monitor being out, so I got to flip back and forth. Currently 8:16. Let's do this. We're going to take a quick commercial break, then we're going to play our interview with the American Legion Post 61 family here on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winter.
Do you know what the hardest part of dealing with the roofer is? Just trying to get them on the phone. Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I want you to know that you can always trust Trustmark Roofing to answer our phone. Need a free roof inspection? Just call us at 575-755-ROOF, and we'll answer with a live person, a real human being. Have a roofing project already going with us and need to discuss it? Just call 575-755-ROOF, and we will answer the phone. No answering machine, no voicemails, and no weird robot automated attendant. That's because at Trustmark Roofing, we're all about relationships and treating people right. That's true for customers and vendors and insurance companies and employees. Anyone and everyone who comes in contact with our company. So if you have any roofing needs at all, trust Trustmark to treat you right and to answer the phone. Our number again is 575-755-ROOF, or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Are you ready to succeed? The health education programs at ENMU Roswell can set you up for success with a wide variety of courses such as emergency medical services, fire science, medical assisting, nursing, and respiratory therapy. ENMU Roswell can prepare you for a rewarding career in the healthcare industry. ENMUR stacks courses in order to get the student into a job as quickly as possible while creating a pathway for more advanced certifications, licenses, and degrees. Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. Success starts here. Stock up your freezer with premium New Mexico grown beef cuts delivered straight to your door from Runyon Cattle Meats. Runyon Cattle Meats offers premium grass-fed, grain-finished beef in whole, halves, and quarters, along with special seasonings that perfectly complement the meat. Find mouth-watering recipes, cut lists, gift baskets, and more at RunyonCattleMeats.com. Order today by calling Runyon Cattle Meats at 575-760-5655 or online RunyonCattleMeats.com.
Central Valley Electric is continually learning and advancing technology that improves electric service, reliability, and safety, and in turn enhancing the quality of life for members that we serve in our local communities. CVE offers an account management program called Smart Hub that allows members to track their usage, set up convenient pay methods, and the ability to manage their energy use with smart technologies. A secure system such as Smart Hub is an easy tool to use. To sign up, visit cvecoop.org and click Smart Hub to get started.
So you've got questions about the birds and the bees? What would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben Manette with Roswell Seed Company. If Jim was here, he'd tell you that it's time to order your bees. You'll get a 3-pound box of live bees and a queen, and that's enough to start a hive. As for the birds, we're talking about baby chicks. Not only are they cute as can be, they'll soon be supplying your family with fresh eggs. So come see us at Roswell Seed and find out all about the birds and the bees.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. There are 293 ways to make change for $1. Try all 293 on the guy who keeps borrowing money from you. Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us. And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in the studio this morning from our American Legion Post 61 family. Of course, Commander Lee's back with us, and Auxiliary President Jen back with us as well. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
¿Cómo estamos, jefe?
I think this is officially first time in 2025 I've talked to you on the radio. So Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I think it is.
I think so.
It would indeed be.
It was hard to tell. I talk to you guys all the time. So I was like, I think we haven't been on the radios in the new year yet together.
No, this is it. First time.
But we're kind of hitting the ground running in so many. I mean, obviously in the big scope, we're pushing forward with our new facility, and hopefully, cross fingers, knock wood, rain dance, whatever you got to do. By the end of this year, we're in our new facility.
That's what we're
hopefully
hoping.
that's a goal here.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
But there have been a few roadblocks.
Well, life hands you lemons, and we got quite a few over the last.
We're squeezing them hard.
yeah.
Is what we're doing. So.
But we really do. Here February's right around the corner. We're going to be involved with our 4 chaplains, and so we're kind of getting busy here in 2025.
New location. It's looking like 3 p.m. February 7th. I believe that's a Friday.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's going to be at Roswell
That'll
High
be next
School.
week.
Roswell High School in the little theater. So
very good.
Yeah, mark your calendar.
And we would love the public to come and be a part of it. We'll
Yeah.
promote it more here between now and the 7th.
There should be an ad in the paper, but
Good.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, we want to definitely get people out, and I'll pitch it heavy here between now and the 7th. That's
So you
for
could
sure.
put it on your community calendar.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
we get.
Anyway,
maybe
for
it might
those
already
of
be
you-
there. I don't know, but we'll
For
double
those
check.
of you who don't know, it's the story of the Dorchester, the 4 chaplains that sacrificed their lives to save others. It became a big deal. They tried to give them the Congressional Medal of Honor, but they couldn't do it because it wasn't officially in combat. So
it
Congress
was a technicality, basically.
a special one-time medal that has the same weight as the CMH, and gave it to them posthumously.
Put it this way: it's one of those things that it's an amazing story when you hear it. You go through the whole emotions of proud, happy, sad. The whole thing.
It'd make a great movie.
But when
They made a movie out of it, apparently. I just
did they
never-
really?
I've
did
never
they?
seen it.
Well,
Nice.
you got to get Matthew McConaughey in it or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Some big name.
Yeah.
Not have a bunch of no names.
But
I get Colin Firth or something.
yeah, but when you think about it, it's these 4 men were chaplains.
Yeah.
They are in war, the non-combatants, the people that inspire.
The unarmed guy that run in the bullets.
They're right there with the medics. The medics are patching wounds. The chaplains are patching souls. Yeah, it really, and for them to make the ultimate sacrifice, and that's exactly what they did. I mean,
And it was a choice on their part.
at the beginning of the story, they thought maybe they're going to get off with the boat, but by the end of it, it was very, very clear, and towards the middle, it was looking very, very clear, and that didn't stop any of them.
Right.
And that's why we celebrate these 4 men, and that's why we share this story for these 4 men, because at the end of the day, it is the ultimate celebration of the human spirit.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's
even
what it's
in the
about.
story, there's a portion in which the one chaplain, his father tells him, "What are you, nuts? You're
Mhm.
going to go into war, but
Right.
you're going to go without the weapon." And another portion of it, where they talk about, well, the rabbi didn't call out for a Jew, and the Catholic didn't call out for a Catholic. They just
Or a
handed
Democrat
it
or Republican, for that
well,
matter, in our today's world.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they just handed it to the next person in line,
Yeah.
and they knew they weren't going to make it out.
Yeah.
And they just kept going.
They gave up their spots in the lifeboats so others could have it.
And they kept everybody's spirits going and all that right up to the very end.
And I really hope that as people hear the story for the first time, especially, I mean, come and hear it again, please. But for the first time, I mean, because I hope people reflect and think about, like, if I was that person, how would I react? How would I, and look at it? Like,
I've thought about
that.
And I have no idea.
If I was one of those 4 men on that boat, would I be able to do what they do? And on the surface, I'd like to say I would. Yeah. But would I? And
it's hard to say unless you're in it.
I don't think you ever know until you're in a situation like that.
Exactly.
How you're going to react.
And these guys basically paid the ultimate price and passed the test. Is what they did.
I'm kind of lucky. I was on a combat crew in the Air Force, but I never saw combat.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't claim to be a combat veteran because I never
I'm
was
kind of
in
the same
combat.
thing. I'm combat adjacent.
I do know that when after my term in service, I did get shot out a couple of times, and I reacted differently, but not with cowardice. But I mean, one time I laughed.
Right.
And it was just so ridiculous. I was being shot at for this stupid reason.
Right. And all my experiences were not direct, not the gun to the face type moment or any of those. It was always the stuff like in Italy, for instance, some lunatic tried to bomb Tent City.
Yeah.
I was in Tent City, but it was all discovered before anything bad happened. Mine was that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
It wasn't like the guy waving the gun at your face. It was that kind of, you're just in
that
in a
didn't
bad
happen
place.
to me until after service.
Yeah, and so and most of the time I didn't even learn I was in danger till all it was over with. So you know what I mean.
It's a good way to learn about
so
it.
it's kind of I can't relate in some of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's adjacent. Again, it's like I was there, and at the end of the day, I did things that ultimately people lost their lives over. I know. I loaded bombs that didn't come home, and those killed people. I'm
like
aware
to
of
get
that.
into that at all,
but that's the job, and that's what I do, and that's I have no qualms over that.
There were decisions made. That
Right, I don't think a
people
certain kind of way.
died,
Yeah, I don't think I can't do that. If
In
I did, I'd
fact,
go crazy.
At the time that you make the decisions, you can't think about that because then you're not doing your job.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I would even want to offer this a little bit, and this is why veterans are the way veterans are. You do things like we're just talking about here. How do you process that? How do you cope with that in your own brain? Some humans handle it a bit better.
You have to process it later.
Sure. And that's
you
why
can't do it at the time because more people will die if you don't make a decision.
Sure.
Even if people will die.
But even and this is a lower level, but to get the brain to do the thing that you got to do, even though it goes against maybe what human nature tells you to do, you got to put your brain in a certain place or do things that may seem off kilter to the outside.
I have a veteran friend of mine who saw several tours in Afghanistan, and he crashed mentally. He's still having trouble to this very day.
Sure.
And I talked to him, and I told him, you don't have to tell me what you did because I know what you did.
Right.
And it takes a lot of pressure off, and the fact that I may not have done what he did, but I didn't have to.
Sure.
Because I did it from 30,000 feet. I didn't do it from 3 feet away.
It's a different animal. You're absolutely right. Yeah, but at the same time, and when you put your head down on the pillow at night, you think about these kind of things. But this is why we talk about, and when we deal with veterans and PTSD, and say keep an eye on them, but doing it, but and this is why when we talk about veterans, because at the end of the day, sometimes the things that's toiling through there, you want to try to fathom it, you want to try to relate, but unless you've stepped in that pile yourself, you can't.
And the problem is it took me several years even to start processing that because I just put it all behind me and I thought, it's stupid and, what are you thinking and what are you doing and all that stuff. But several years later, you see news reports, you see after action reports of like what your unit did or something like that, and you're back there. You're thinking about what you were doing, what you were going through, the machinations, but we have the luxury on this side of the page to see what the aftermath was.
Sure.
At the moment when we were going through these exercises, you don't know what the after action is immediately. If at all, you don't really get the follow-up to know what was the result, because we weren't really there, you know. We weren't really doing anything there, right?
Right.
You know, because we weren't actually there, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And, but when you read it in the newspaper, you get both sides. You get the, well, this is what this unit did or whatever, but this is the result. And you start thinking about that, and you say, well, when I was in the service, this is the decisions that we made, but I didn't know what the aftermath was, what the fallout was. So and a lot of times my brain will skip over those stories.
Well, and I'm not going to philosophize about military ideology and all that, but in the big scope of things, that's by design. That's, you know, when it comes to OPSECs and all these other things,
they have to train you to detach.
And sometimes the way they build you to know what you know, and that's what you know. You don't need to know about the other thing until you get to another place, and then we'll get you there. But you know what I mean? It's that kind of, you know, what the left hand's doing and the right hand doing. They may not know it yet, but they all got, you know, and the military. They do that by design, you know. You know, if you don't need to know, then there's less risk of it leaking out there.
It's called compartmentalization.
Yeah, and so a lot of that is what's going on there too. And then as a piece in the cog, you don't see the big picture till afterwards when you read the newspaper.
And I think that also it's for security purposes, but I'm sure it's also for just the well-being and the ability of those doing it to be able to do it.
And I don't care what you did in the military, what branch of the military you served in, you can relate to this, because every is the OPSEC thing. Like when you get sent somewhere, and I don't care what the technology is. Back in our day, we had to go through these crazy phone daisy chain thing to get to somebody, and all this. Now it's a little different because everyone's got cell phones. But either way, they preach the same thing. Don't say this, don't say that. And it doesn't matter if you're a Coast Guardman, hear that, a chef in the chow hall, or if you're a guy in a trench somewhere.
There was a movie in the 80s. I'd say the name of it, but it doesn't really make any difference. But there was a line in the movie that at the time I just glossed over. It didn't make any sense to me really. But the guy tells him what the result of his mission was. And his response was, "You think I want to know that?"
Yeah.
And, you know, to me at the time I glossed over that. But after being in the service, I totally relate. Because in the Air Force, for instance, I mean, this was a movie about the Navy, but in the Air Force, I don't want to know that I pushed the button and I killed 30,000 people. I don't need to know that.
Sure.
Because if I did know that, the next time I got to push the button, I may not push the button.
It's the same theory or concept in a firing squad. Whereas only one guy has the bullet, the rest have blanks. So in theory, you can rationalize that you didn't kill anybody.
Right.
Because no one knows who had the bullet. So same logic.
Yep.
It's by design. Yeah.
And that's one of the what we're talking about is one of the main reasons the American Legion was formed, because only veterans really seem to understand other veterans.
Right.
So if you are struggling, if you are looking for some camaraderie, that's what the American Legion is for.
That absolutely. Yeah, we got way down a rabbit hole here.
Yes, but that's okay.
That's kind of. But yeah, that's why the American Legion's here, and your other veteran organizations as well too. This is. And so if you are veterans out there, we'd love to have you, or veteran families, we would love to have you come join and join officially. But I would even offer this out, even if maybe, you don't have a Legionnaire, that lineage, but you still want to get involved. There's many ways to join, to come and be a part. We are a service organization, and we serve the community.
Right. And you don't have to be a member to help us.
Absolutely. Yes. A large portion of our service does gear towards veterans, because that is our mission statement is part of that. But equally, in our service is just the community. You know, we help
the kids and the community
scouting,
at large.
through scouting, through donations and whatever it is, to various other charities. The holidays and things. We're always trying to get food or needs to the refuges and the various other great charities in town too. So that's really what our Legion post is about. That's what we do. We said 100 times. We're in the middle of building a new facility. We're not going to have a bar in it. It's going to be a social place, but not a drinking place per se. It is, we're and to be honest, we're trying to look to the future of Legion. If I know, depending on your age, you have a certain image of a Legion or VFW or any of these. It's the bar, a bunch of old crotchety dudes sitting on bar stools, drinking beer and curmudgeonly talking about life.
Yeah, that's the past.
That's the old. That's the old. That's American Legion's. Let's just face it. Today's veterans aren't all in their 60s and 70s and gray-haired, and we have kids that are in their late 20s and 30s that are now your grizzled veterans.
Right.
And that's not their thing, man.
Yeah. They'd rather hop on the Xbox and play with somebody over and
they want to they're a different generation. They're into different things. And so you're going to see Legion nationally, already has, but you're going to see in especially smaller places where, time change happens slowly.
Yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon that's been happening in the American Legion over the last few years. Previously, the bar was the big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was one of the goals because it's a great fundraiser. It's true, but it also has its own problems. So a lot of posts across the country have decided, even if they had a bar previously, they're getting rid of them.
Sure.
They're going
or making a much smaller portion of their image. So
exactly.
To speak. Yeah.
They're changing their image and they're refocusing on things that are American Legion as opposed to the bar.
Absolutely. So please, if this sounds more like you're thinking, or we would love to have you come
and we're
be a part
working
of
on
it.
getting our scouts back going.
Yeah, the lack of facility makes that very difficult to kind of reestablish our troops. We still sponsor, but as far as our hub pack and things like that, we can't provide a meeting space at the moment. We're working on this stuff. But
no, we're going to be meeting at the Chamber of Commerce, but we just renewed Pack 61 and Troop 2.
So we're getting them.
Troop 2 is changing a bit. They have a new scoutmaster.
Good.
I talked to Dave Hine yesterday. He's having complications.
How's he doing? He's had some medical stuff.
He's having complications after his heart attack.
That's unfortunate.
I think he said something about rhabdo or something like that. But the point being, it's going to be a while before he gets back on his feet. He's currently in Texas visiting his grandchildren and stuff, and so he's reconnecting with family. But
let's get him healthy and back on his feet. That's important.
And
that's his
from
goal.
what Conquistador told me, that building that got destroyed in the flood, the city actually did have insurance on that building.
Nice.
But how much they won't disclose.
Well, there was a whole dispute on who even owned the building.
That's true.
They're now talking that scout hut's going to cost between $80,000 and $100,000 to rebuild, and that's just a little teeny tiny building.
But it is used. It's a utilized facility.
It is.
Yeah.
So
it's been broken into several times.
The need is there, whether it's that thing or something else.
We needed to replace the roof because it was leaking, and they could only operate the heater with the doors open on both sides because they didn't want to asphyxiate the kids.
It was one of those buildings that borderlines on historical but leans towards ghetto. If that
Yes, I see your point.
The point being, we're actively involved in trying to replace that facility.
Right.
But PAC 61 will be meeting at
the Roswell Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah. We're not sure what night it's going to be. It's either going to be Wednesdays evenings, or it may possibly be Saturday mornings. It's going to kind of depend on a lot of factors.
But we got a few other pieces to put in place before we're ready to
have a
lock that stuff
co-master,
down.
and she's going through the training process right now.
And she's very excited. She was a teacher for a little while. So
she's going to be down.
She's already got ideas.
March 1st and March 2nd, they have a training down in Carlsbad, and she's already agreed to attend that. So, but she wants to do camping. and that seems to be her primary focus. And I know that I talked to Joy the other night, and she said that her kids would come back because all they want to do is go camping, and
that's what scouting's about.
Can't blame them. I want to go camping too.
On the agenda,
that's what scouting's about.
They're back, and then the other kids, a lot of them dispersed to other units because the Cub Master that we had, he worked full time and he wasn't able to do much.
Commit. Yeah, I get you.
And he was hired as a temporary fill-in anyway.
Sure.
But
he did what he could with the time he had.
Exactly.
And he moved on in the middle of the night, and
sure.
Next thing I knew, we didn't have any scouts anymore. But
and that's not an uncommon story in scouting. That's usually one thing happens and it kind of knocks down
It's a volunteer-run organization. So.
Knocks over the dominoes.
But
for the rest
we're going to
of
build it back, and we're going to do it better than ever, because now that we've got someone that is interested in the fun activities, I think that will organically grow our scouts.
All I know is you start with camping. That's a pretty good way to start it out. If you do that, that'll dangle a good carrot. So
my understanding is they're going to meet with the principal of Military Heights first week of March to determine when
February,
we can start. February. You're right.
Yeah.
1st of February, they're going to meet with the Military Heights principal to target those kids, and then we will meet with Military Heights in their classrooms some morning, probably next month, and we will start meeting probably by the end of February is what I'm thinking.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Good stuff here. But in the meantime, mark February 7th on your calendars for chaplain ceremony at the Roswell High School there in the little gym, I think is what they call it, right? Or what do they call it?
Theater.
Little theater, that's it. I'm sorry.
The Roswell, the high school, not the
Roswell.
other.
Not the
Roswell
theater.
High School.
Yeah, the little theater at Roswell High.
Right. Not the one next to the movie theater.
Got to be clear in this.
Exactly. And that'll be what time is it again? I forgot.
3 o'clock.
3 p.m.
is what we're planning.
At Roswell will be, I guess, right after school there. It
Yeah.
seems like, because I think school lets out right around that time.
Something like that. Yeah.
So come here, and I'll tell you more about it as we get close to the event. But kind of put the bee in the bonnet, put that on your. And I would love to see people. You know, I'm so thankful to people that do come, but you know, we did it at First United for many years, and that's a beautiful place to do it.
It
but
is.
we kind of were like kind of swallowed up in that facility there.
It was, yeah.
And so I would love to see a building full of people saying this.
It would be
it's,
really nice.
You know, a smaller building, but I just want to see it full of people. Please come and see it. Anything else we need to cover? I know there are a couple.
Well, I know that we're having our membership meeting on February 6th. So if
Very
you're
good.
interested in anything Legion, Scouting, Memory Lawn, any of that, come say hey.
Yes,
and
that'll be
let us know.
next Thursday, actually, a week from tomorrow.
Yep.
At
we'll be in
6 p.m.
Albuquerque this weekend. We're having midwinter conference, so that's the whole state meets and
Good deal.
compares notes starting Friday.
Any go-tos for when you're in Albuquerque, like food-wise or anything? Just curious. Like you have a staple, like, hey, we're in Albuquerque, we're going to hit
Hooters. They have great chicken.
Is it Hooters for you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Not the answer I was expecting. All right. I thought maybe Lee might throw out a Hooters, but not Jen.
Well, we don't go for the service. We go for the food.
I know.
Yeah. I like
it's-
their chicken salad. It's huge and very nice.
Good. Okay.
It's yummy.
It's been so long since I've been to Hooters, but I always learned just get the wings at Hooters. Like everything, my thing was like everything else is, their wings were.
Their wings
good.
are really good.
Yeah,
To be
yeah.
honest, the rest of it's overpriced garbage. But the wings are good as long as you get a decent sauce. I mean, if you get mild or naked wings, it's not worth it. But if you get something spicy, it's good.
My wife and I's go-to for Albuquerque is Wex.
Oh, what's
we
that
always
one?
hit a Wex. They're a breakfast lunch place.
Okay.
It's a chain. There's like 6 of them in Albuquerque.
Uh-huh.
WECKS. They're usually pretty busy.
Is it like American food? Or?
Oh yeah, it's they do
We ate
breakfast burritos, and
we ate there once.
they have big portions.
Okay.
Long time ago.
To be honest, I always gotten their breakfast. I don't think I've ever gotten a lunch fare. It looks good and all this, but I either get their burritos or I'll get one of their.
I know we went there once on your recommendation.
Eggs Benedict. It's kind of one of my.
Well, I don't remember it, so I guess we'll have to go again.
And everything's big. Like if you can't finish their food, it's just usually too much.
Yeah,
food.
I remember the building too. It was pretty wide and laid out.
Yeah, well, there's chain. There's like 6 or 7 of them in the Albuquerque area, and they're all. It's a diner style.
It is.
Yeah. Last time we were there, I actually went to Chili's. I think it was Chipotle.
Okay.
Yeah, I love their burritos.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll hit. I always like to go to places that we don't have in Roswell.
Yeah.
Or
I don't think we have
get.
a Chipotle here.
We do not.
Yeah.
Do not have Chipotle here. So, but now I can cross like Jersey Mike's off the list. We got that now. You know.
Oh
what
yeah.
I mean?
Yep.
And so,
now, if we could just get an In-N-Out burger, we'll be in good shape.
In-N-Out burger, yeah.
Well,
being from California, I'm not sure what the whole hoopla is about In-N-Out burger, but pretty much everybody I talk to outside of California thinks it's the greatest.
I've had one.
Yeah.
The Albuquerque's getting one here in a.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they announced it It's gonna be like another year, but
okay.
But they announced, I want to say 6 months ago.
Okay. Well, when it arrives, give it 6 months.
In New Mexico, and I think it's Albuquerque they're getting one.
Well, that would make sense.
Well, here's the deal on that. Is that's almost like an East Coast West Coast thing.
Yeah.
The
I can see
burger
that.
thing, because traditionally, Californians, West Coast, they're all In-N-Out people.
Yep.
I'm from D.C. I'm from Maryland. I grew up there.
Our condolences.
I'm a Five Guys guy. We're the Five Guys.
Condolences.
Yeah, we're the Five Guys people.
Yeah.
I prefer Five Guys to In-N-Out. In-N-Out is fine. In-N-Out to me is more fast foody.
Mm-hmm.
Like the burgers are thinner, the fries are thinner.
Yeah.
Where Five Guys is more
diner.
Homemade.
Yeah.
More like, now they're equally good in their ingredients and everything. They're both like, no freezers, very fresh, this and that, home handmade potatoes. So all that's legit on that side. But to me, I'm just Team Five Guys. It's kind of like Coke or Pepsi. You got
See,
your
and
people.
I'm for neither one. I realized it's kind of
Ain't a
silly,
thing
but
wrong with
Burger
an
King
In-N-Out
is
burger,
okay
and
too.
I'll eat it twice on Sundays. But if you make me pick, I'm going to take Five
I ate
Guys.
at a smash burger once. And
Yeah, done that.
That I don't get.
Well, and
because you smash all the flavor out of the damn hamburger.
I will say that. But dang it, have you tried that smash burger at Sonic? It's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I try to avoid Sonic at all costs.
That burger is better than the regular burgers. I'm like, you should just replace your burgers with this burger. This burger's better. But anyway, the one the other thing with Five Guys and In-N-Out is the fries.
Yeah.
Because it depends on your fry opinion. Now In-N-Out, they do the more shoestring thin fry.
Yeah.
Where Five Guys is more of a wedge.
Okay.
But it's not a wedge. It's a fry, but the skin's on it. It's
I
it's
see.
natural
See,
cut.
I like somewhere in between.
But they cook it properly. It's not, because a lot of times people do that and they don't cook it enough, so it's kind
There's
of.
nothing wrong with Texas fries.
But here's the other thing too: is Five Guys, they give you a lot of fries.
Steak fries.
Never, ever, ever order large fries from Five Guys unless you're feeding 4 people, because that's what you can do with a large fry.
Oh, nice.
Literally, they put the regular fry or small fry. They put this cup in the bag. It's about the size of a 10-ounce, 12-ounce cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put it in a paper bag, and they just dump a whole bunch of fries in. I don't even know why they bother with the cup. Just dump these fries in there, and that's Five Guys. And they do this deal. They do the bit where when you come in,
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell you where the potatoes are from. Like you walk in, there's a sign like, today's potatoes come from Butt Scratch, Idaho. And they'll tell you.
Okay.
They used to do the peanuts on the floor thing, but then people
Peanut
got
allergies
butthead
and-
about the nerve.
yeah.
Like they didn't used to, you couldn't get a milkshake at Five Guys
Really? Why not?
for years because they have no freezers.
Oh,
There's no freezers in a Five Guys. And then they said, we're not going to come up with a shake till we perfect it.
Okay.
And then about 3 or 4 years ago, they came up with their shake. And their shake is it's an order menu. You
Uh-huh.
basically have an order menu for your shake. And you can get bacon in it. You can get all kinds of
okay.
stuff in it.
I mean, I can
You can-
understand
you
dipping
can-
a fry in there,
yeah.
but bacon's different.
You can go a little nutty with your shake at Five Guys if you want.
Well, it sounds like
They
I
a-
have to try
Like their
one.
burgers, it's a toppings bar.
So where do you find a Five Guys?
Albuquerque's got a couple.
Okay. Well, I may have to try
Curtis
it.
has one. Lubbock's got a couple.
Oh, so they did make it out west.
Yeah, they are out here. They're easier to find a Five Guys than an In-N-Out right now.
Yeah,
I think right now you got to go either halfway to Dallas or Arizona to find an In-N-Out burger.
Oh.
You've got, I think, 4 or 5 in New Mexico.
Okay.
Most in Albuquerque. I think there's like 2 or 3 in Albuquerque, and I think 1, maybe 2 in Las Cruces.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, that was definitely off topic, but it was fun.
Yeah. Five Guys.
Yeah.
They have hot dogs too.
Oh.
And I didn't have one of those till years
Are
later.
you hungry, Mike?
I know you're.
I'm a Five Guys guy.
While we got a couple seconds here left.
Yeah, let's end on a
You might
on
want
a
to
Legion
say
note.
something about what you girls are doing at on your Thursday meetings, because we've got air races coming here soon, and you guys are developing some new product.
Yes, we are. So we've restarted our Thursday night meetings, which is when the auxiliary folks.
Although they're not going to meet tomorrow, and next meetings are regular meetings.
Yeah. Right. So, yes. So probably the 13th is when we'll
2 weeks here, 3 weeks.
Yeah, is when we'll be doing our regular fabric project crafty thing. So we're trying to come up with things that we can sell at farmers market, because that's going to start up faster than we anticipate.
July will be here quick.
Yes, it will. So we're thinking something to do with jars. We may do, I don't know, like a terrarium for a gnome or something. I don't know. Maybe some keychains, and we're trying to come up with something for the Reno air races, because as we know, that's coming to Roswell, and we're excited like everybody else. So we're just trying to come up with
You know how they do those like recipes in a jar?
Yeah.
You want to do cookies and something?
That's a good idea.
What if we did a New Mexico theme one for the air racers? Something green chili, I don't know.
Hey.
Thing for
See,
asado.
now you had to
or-
say it on the radio. You couldn't have told me offline.
Oh, you know what? You're right. But maybe we go something like make a I don't know pozole or something. You know, with all the ingredients in the jar.
Yeah.
I don't know. Put that little throw that. I don't know. Just off the top of the head.
There you go.
So if we're trying to lure them to New Mexico-ify them,
Right,
that'll
yep.
be a way to do it.
And put an alien on it, so it's definitely Roswell.
Oh yeah, slap
there
a
you go.
little green man, and we'll call it good.
Yep.
Now it's a collector's item.
Hey, there you go. So, yeah, if you guys are interested in participating, you don't have to be a member. Just come get crafty with us.
And by the way, the all this stuff is funds to go back to our Legion stuff to keep doing the things that we do to pay for a building we got going on, but also when we get those turkeys out at Christmas, Thanksgiving, and or when we got a vet that comes through town and they need a place to stay or they need something to get them back on their feet. That's what this money
or we
comes
just
from.
donate stuff to the local charities that are more.
Things like the charity bears.
We need to make some more of those too. I think the sheriff needs some more.
The money goes to pay for those things. And if you're not familiar with that, that's a project that the Legion Auxiliary does, where they make little stuffed bears and things to give to law enforcement, first responders. They keep them in the backs of their vehicles when they come across domestic violence or unsavory situations, and they got kids involved. They can use these as tools to kind of give the kid a little calm in the sea of crap at the moment. So
Yep. It's very, and it's a nice icebreaker for the adults too, because if the kids are happier and calmer, it's
the adults are a little bit.
So it makes things go smoother for everybody.
Allows the discussion to find out what actually happened, so they can serve justice.
Right. Exactly.
But that's on Thursday nights. Go to check out our website, which is probably a good resource to kind of learn everything we talk about. If you have questions about anything, scholarships, all that stuff, RoswellNMLegion.org is it RoswellLegion.org. Roswell Legion. Sorry, I get too many words in my head to say. RoswellLegion.org. If I just did it, I could do it, but if I had to say it, then it gets screwed up. RoswellLegion.org. You go there, and if you see 3 L's in the middle, you did it right.
Yep, it looks funky, but it's right.
And don't hesitate to reach out there or come back, and we'll be happy if you're in needs, or if you're a veteran looking for resources or want to be a part of it. Don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be happy to.
And if you're more interested in a phone call, you want to talk to us, it's 575-268-0220.
Very good. Well, safe travels.
Thank you.
And good luck at Hooters.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm hoping that we actually make it that far. I'm hearing that the snow might make things interesting.
Oh, is it bad? Yeah, our snow
know.
got. Yeah, we ain't nothing here. Just curious, level of wing hotness, you guys.
Oh, I'm a wuss.
Okay.
Like Parmesan garlic I'm good.
Okay.
3 Mile.
Okay. Have you ever had their hottest?
Nope.
Yes.
I have.
No, I like being able to feel my mouth.
Yeah. No, it was. And
3 Mile is the highest I go because it has flavor. and heat. I mean, it's like that. Who's that guy? Flavor and Heat. I can't remember his name.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Guy Fieri?
No, he puts that crap on everything. I can't remember.
Yeah, Texas. No, it's Eli Manning.
The sauce
Eli Manning's the
is he?
The talker.
Know that.
It's Frank's hot sauce. Thank you. I couldn't not for the life of me. I kept wanting to say Texas Pete. I was like, that's not it.
Because if I go hotter than that, then it just kills all the my taste buds, and then I can't taste anything. It's kind of like painkillers because you're still doing damage, but you can't feel it anymore.
Sure. Well, good tip if you want to mess with a guy, get him to get those wings, and then when they insist on the pitcher of water next to him, put a lot of salt in it. It's fun. Watch the comedy ensues after you do.
Oh
yeah, we had a whole wings bit one time. Of course, it's military bunch of dudes.
I was wondering if that was the case.
Yeah,
that sounded like a military story.
But mess with the guys and just taint his water.
Whenever you're dealing with any kind of capsation, water's a really fun thing to add.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, ask for milk. It's way better.
Yeah. Milk actually helps.
Yeah.
Or yogurt or even cheese.
Milk will kill the heat, but the water will spread it.
Yeah, water makes it worse. But milk is the way to go. So, but if they do ask for a pitcher of water, put copious amounts of salt. Well, it not only works, it tastes like crap. So it's really fun. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mike. It's been an interesting
You
morning.
realize that hazing is illegal now, right?
It's not hazing. It's hanging with the boys.
Yeah, there you go. Sure.
Because sometimes it's your day to drink the pitcher of salty water. It
Is
just
it
happens.
really?
Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah. Order bottled water, open it yourself. You'll be just fine.
That's probably the real pro tip. Thank you, guys. 9:57. Let's take a quick break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Reveals a significant decline in methane emissions from oil and gas production operations in the Permian Basin. This covers the year 2023. The firm says it's a testament to the industry's ability to innovate and adapt and companies' commitment to stewardship. Methane, a potent greenhouse gas, has long been a target for emission reduction efforts. The S&P analysis shows that the decline in methane emissions from the Permian Basin is equivalent to the annual carbon emissions avoided by every electric vehicle on the road in the United States. The so-called Carlsbad Man Camp is now under new ownership. The 800-bed facility serves as a temporary shelter for oil field workers as they complete drilling and other extraction efforts in the region. Corporate Hospital Services recently acquired the Carlsbad Lodge. It also operates similar facilities in Midland, Odessa, Pecos, Orla, Big Spring, Loving, and Jow. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. It was a victory for Roswell on Friday night as the Coyotes played their second boys basketball district game. Roswell defeats Carlsbad 47-44. The Coyotes 17-5 overall, 1-1 in district play. They will host Clovis next Friday night for their next outing. Meanwhile, it's a split for Goddard over the weekend, losing at Portales. District opener for the Rockets, and a tough Portales team wins 54-38. But then Goddard bounces back on Saturday and wins at NMMI 39-36. The Rockets are 8-12. They'll host Lovington tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, Hagerman is now 11-5 overall, 2-1 in district play after winning Saturday against Loving. Final score 64-41 for the Bobcats. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. We have an extremely quiet weather pattern settling in this week, and it will be fairly warm. Abundant sunshine for today with highs Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia sneaking up to the low 80s. We're settling down to the low 40s for tonight and a few more low to mid 80s. Moving in for tomorrow with lots of sunshine. Highs are up between 80 and 85 for Wednesday with dry weather, and then by Thursday we're dipping down into the upper 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
So you've got questions about the birds and the bees? What would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben Manette with Roswell Seed Company. If Jim was here, he'd tell you that it's time to order your bees. You'll get a 3-pound box of live bees and a queen, and that's enough to start a hive. As for the birds, we're talking about baby chicks. Not only are they cute as can be, they'll soon be supplying your family with fresh eggs. So come see us at Roswell Seed and find out all about the birds and the bees.
When managing a chronic illness, access to the right treatments makes all the difference. Artesia General Hospital's Infusion Center provides IV therapy and biologic treatments, so you don't have to travel far for care. Expert infusion therapy right here in Artesia. Call 575-736-8256 today to learn more.
Your home for Armed American Radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
Following a phone call with President Trump, Mexico's president says U.S. tariffs on her country, which were to take effect tomorrow, are being put on hold for 1 month. Claudia Scheinbaum also says Mexico will dispatch some 10,000 troops to help secure the border with the U.S. President Trump acknowledges the tariffs aimed at cracking down on the flow of deadly drugs and illegal aliens into the U.S. could cause some pain for Americans.
With tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China taking effect this week, the emerging trade war could lead to higher prices. The president admitted that Americans could feel some pain in the short term, but he claimed it will all be worth the price that must be paid. He repeatedly bashed Joe Biden for high inflation. And now the Trump tariffs threaten to raise the price of cars, gasoline, clothes, toys, and avocados. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Crews working in the Potomac River have started removing aircraft wreckage from last week's mid-air collision near Reagan National Airport. So far, the remains of 55 of the 67 people killed in the accident have been recovered. And last week's other aviation disaster.
6 people on an air ambulance flight and 1 person on the ground were killed when it crashed in Philadelphia a minute after takeoff Friday. NTSB Chairman Jennifer Hamady says recovery of the intact black box is a challenge.
There is substantial impact on the entire community. The debris field extends 4 or 5 blocks.
The crash coming 2 days after an American Airlines mid-air collision with 64 on board in Washington with an Army helicopter with 3 aboard. I'm Julie Walker.
Panama's president says he's agreed to opt out of China's Belt and Road Initiative following a visit from and talks with Secretary of State Rubio. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
A deadly terrorist strike in northern Syria.
At least 15 people have been killed and dozens more wounded on Monday when a car bomb exploded in the outskirts of a northern Syrian city. The car on the outskirts of the city of Manbij detonated next to a vehicle carrying agricultural workers. Over a dozen women were killed from the blast, according to the local Syrian civil defense. Over a dozen other women were wounded, some of them in a critical condition. Manbij in northeastern Aleppo province continues to witness violence, even after the downfall of President Bashar al-Assad in December. I'm Karen Shamas.
A spate of name-calling between the U.S. and North Korea. North Korea lashing out at Secretary of State Rubio for calling the communist North a rogue state. Pyongyang says the U.S. is the biggest rogue state of them all. The North adds that what it calls such coarse and nonsensical remarks will never contribute to U.S. interests. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. It's a Mona Lisa upgrade in Paris. The world-famous Da Vinci work will be getting a room all to itself.
French President Emmanuel Macron announced that in a speech from the room at the Louvre Museum in Paris, where the world-famous painting is displayed. He announced it as part of plans to renovate and modernize the museum, a major overhaul that will take years to complete and likely cost hundreds of millions of euros. The initiative is much needed. The Louvre is the world's most visited museum, but plagued with overcrowding and outdated facilities, prone to water leaks and other damage. Macron said the renovations will include a new entrance and new underground rooms. I'm Mimi Montgomery.
It's a crowded field in the New Jersey governor's race. 6 Democrats, including 2 sitting members of Congress, the mayors of the state's 2 largest cities, the head of the state's biggest teachers union, and a former top lawmaker, all in the running in the governor's race in New Jersey. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The tabloid said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday, everybody.
Yes, welcome to it.
Yeah, happy February. Happy 80-degree day.
Yeah. It was 8 like 2 weeks ago. 8 degrees at 6 in the morning like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Good reminder, get your air conditioner serviced.
Yeah. I actually turned it on this weekend, one of my window units.
Yeah?
For first time in several months.
Nice.
It was dusty. At least at first.
That's what I call my air conditioner.
Dusty.
But yeah, it kind of feels different out there right now. So. But they say Super Bowl Sunday is supposed to be a little cooler, 59.
Yeah.
So. Which is high.
And that's doable for sure.
Yeah.
You know what? It's good outdoor patio weather. Like we're not going to be all huddled around the tower heater outside or the chimayo.
The chimeria. Yeah, and I heard brats are the theme.
Nice.
For our Super Bowl Sunday.
Very cool. I can do brats.
So.
I think I'm going to go ahead and prepare the stuff that I got for this weekend. For next weekend.
Smokies and queso.
I'll bring the little cock doggies and the queso.
My wife said we're doing our poppers with the.
Nice.
She does the ones with the. Pretty good. I think you've had them.
Mm-hmm. With the cream,
with the pineapple cream cheese and the scrimp and the bacon. Yeah.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, those are good ones. So they always seem to be a hit. So
mm-hmm.
Why change what works?
I might want to check with people and make sure that somebody else didn't bring in queso too, because mine would be it would pale in comparison. I feel to the championship queso we've had in the
There's
past.
always usually someone that does queso,
Mm-hmm.
but you can never have enough queso. Why I say it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Abraham Lincoln said it. Actually,
that's right. If you don't feel like making queso.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't everyone go out and do it at once, because this is kind of a thing I like.
Okay.
So don't ruin it. And I think I've said it before on the radio months ago, but Albertsons. Usually it's in the produce section. Like if it's if you go to the one south, it's in the back where you can get like those little cups of watermelon and all that.
Mm-hmm.
In the one on Second, it's in the produce section.
Sure.
It's queso with fused with New Mexico green chili, hatch green chili. So it's and I'm telling you right now, that queso is a 10.
Is it? I'll have to give that a shot.
All you gotta do is buy it and heat it up, and you got delicious queso.
Nice.
It's on point.
I've been now that I have a crock pot, I'm turning into an old man. I'm looking up all these set it and forget it recipes that I can just start early in the day. And what I'm discovering is these are going to be highly used for soups. I'm going to start making myself a whole lot of stews, I think.
You know what's really good, and I recommend it? You can make a good barbecue out of it without smoking and all that. It's pretty. Literally and it doesn't matter if you're a pork guy or beef guy, get you a pork butt or a beef roast of some kind, whatever you prefer. And throw that bad boy in the crock pot with a little bit of water. Let it cook for, 4 to 6 hours to a point where you can shred it. Then get Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, maybe throw a little green chili, a couple whatever else is in there. And about 7 hours later, after all said and done, you got a pretty good little barbecue. Get you some slaw, get some buns, and you got a delicious little barbecue.
That and a potato, and you got yourself a stew.
That's right.
I definitely could get down on that.
I've done it a couple times.
It gives me an excuse to get those Wolverine claws that they sell in like sharp image to shred my meat.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you don't have a smoker and want to do all that smoking, it's pretty good barbecue just out of the crock pot there. And I've done it a couple times. And now you use your barbecue. I always just grab Sweet Baby Ray's because that's just the one that always works for me. So
it's sweet.
Yeah.
And Baby Ray.
Baby.
As far as the bowl itself, commercial wise, I've been trying to keep myself pretty blind to what the commercials are going to be. Because I like the surprise of it.
I've caught some of them. Like I've seen.
I did see that Bud Light one.
Yeah, the Post Malone and
Shane Gillis.
Those are good.
Props to Shane Gillis for he was a open mic comic like 6 years ago, and now he's like one of the most famous comedians in the country.
Yeah, YouTube can make you famous.
Really can.
I've seen that. I saw a commercial. Now I'm not sure if this is in the Super Bowl or just a commercial for Jordans. And it's all about the banning the Jordans and what if they didn't pay the fines when Jordan wore his illegal Jordans on the court. How the world would be different. Basically the world would not be cool if all that happened.
Yeah, that's I saw that. Definitely a Super Bowl commercial.
And then there's a Jalen Hurts nod in there because I guess there's some shoes that Jalen was banned from wearing, and so he there's a little dig at that.
Well, it's a league sponsorship is what it is.
Yeah, it's all about money.
And a lot of athletes have their own shoe.
Yeah.
So I think it was a Reebok situation.
Yeah.
Like he wore his Reeboks.
Maybe.
His shoe specifically on the court, and they didn't.
I remember RG3 getting in trouble back in his when he was there because he was an Adidas guy.
Yeah.
And I think the NFL is Nike, and so he would get fined for wearing like in practice an Adidas shirt. Not even like at the game. Like it would be in the warm-ups before the game,
right?
Where they're just out throwing the ball around, getting warmed
anytime
up.
the cameras around, yeah.
He got fined for wearing his Adidas shirt or having an Adidas towel or something. Something ridiculous.
Robot Chicken did a great bit on that. It was Tiger Woods out in like a PGA tournament.
Yeah,
and he sinks a putt, and he gets all excited. He's like, yeah, and Nike, a representative from Nike shows up at his house later and said, we couldn't help but notice that you weren't wearing your hat.
Right.
And then they punch him in the face, they throw him in a bag, and they throw him in an SUV, and he's tied down to a table, and they brand a Nike swoosh on his forehead so that it never happens again.
I still remember a few years ago in the Super Bowl, there was a whole thing with the drinks. Like, I don't know if it was a Gronk or Beast, Marshawn or someone was like a vitamin water guy.
Yeah, I do.
And I think Gatorade was like the official Super Bowl drink, and he was up there with his vitamin water, and everyone got all butthurt, and he got fined and all kinds of stuff. It was like Gronk or Beast Mode. It was one of those guys. I don't remember which one it was, but it was a big name player in the Super Bowl. So I just can't remember who it was though. But anyway, I just remember the thing about it.
I'm trying to look it up.
Was it J.J. Watt maybe?
Brian Urlacher.
Was it Urlacher? Okay,
says,
Urlacher.
A linebacker for Chicago Bears was fined $100,000 by the NFL for wearing a vitamin water cap during a Super Bowl press event.
Yeah.
Vitamin water offered to pay the fine.
That's nice.
Yeah, thanks.
50 Cent got it. That's his model. That's his company, right?
Yeah.
50 Cent. don't
He's
know
like
if he's
majority shareholder, I think.
But is he the founder or whatever?
No, I don't think he's. I think
he
they
just
they
invested.
slapped his face on it. Yeah,
Nice, invested. So hey,
Mhm.
appreciate you.
He's their Mr. Beast.
That's why we don't have to watch too many of his movies or anything.
That's right.
Thank goodness. Not that 50 Cent's not a in-depth thespian actor.
Now they got to figure out a way to tie up Channing Tatum with some kind of brand sponsorship so we can stop seeing his face everywhere.
Maybe stay away from vodka. That seems to be that gravy change that you have one too many passengers on it. So.
It is hysterical to me, by the way. Every time I walk through like a Farmer's or whatever, they'll have a basket, a clearance basket, and it's full of Ciroc because nobody wants to sell the Ditty vodka anymore.
Yeah, that's got a slight tinge to it now.
Yeah, but nobody wants to buy it either because
Well, how do you explain that one? Especially because it's higher end liquor, right? Like if you bought it outright, it's probably very expensive.
Called ultra premium.
Yeah.
So I guess what you do is you buy that and then you put it in like a Smirnoff bottle, just so people don't judge you. I mean, they're not going to think it's quality, but it's vodka.
Sell this in the paper bag, please.
It's
like
rubbing alcohol, honestly.
Yeah, I'd like the paper bag, please.
A curb somewhere.
That's right. Well, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show.
Yes.
We'll get you up to date with the weather and all that. Spoiler alert, it's going to be nice all week here in just a few. And then we're going to be joined here by, of course, John and Crystal Noble wearing their Roswell Seed hats today. So we'll get an update on Roswell Seed.
I think just John is wearing a hat, actually.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
But
he's got a hat.
It's a metaphorical hat.
There you go. It's a royal hat.
Which is my next band name, Metaphorical
hat.
My radio name's going to be Pud Snyder, too.
A metaphorical hat doesn't sound like it's referencing a hat for this head.
No.
It sounds odd, like Jimmy.
Just saying it. Maybe start a prophylactic company called
There you go.
Metaphorical
hat.
There you go. That's bad. We can sell 1 million
Jump
of them.
on it, Trojan.
That's right. We can market that. It'd be good. But yes, we're going to talk Roswell Seed here in just a bit. Before we do any of that, though, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. We have an extremely quiet weather pattern settling in this week, and it will be fairly warm. Abundant sunshine for today with highs Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia sneaking up to the low 80s. We're settling down to the low 40s for tonight and a few more low to mid 80s. Moving in for tomorrow with lots of sunshine. Highs are up between 80 and 85 for Wednesday with dry weather, and then by Thursday we're dipping down into the upper 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Thank you, Jennifer. Currently, did I refresh my weather? Yeah, I did. Currently 52 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 40%. Winds are calm at the moment. We are looking at a warm week of weather. 81 and sunny today. Winds will be out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight. Looking at an overnight low of 44 degrees with south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's pretty warm for overnight. 44. Shorts. For your Tuesday, once again, mostly sunny, 81 for a high. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday night, mostly clear, once again, overnight low of 44 degrees. Southwest winds at around 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, 80 for a high. West winds 5 to 10. Wednesday night, 40 for an overnight low under clear skies. Thursday's our cold day, 78 for a high under sunny skies. Friday, sunny skies, 79 for a high. And then looking at the weekend, 78 on Saturday. And then they're dropping down to 58 on Super Bowl Sunday. So a little cooler. So maybe wear your sweaters for Super Bowl on Sunday there. All right, it is. I got to go back to my other screen here. Apologize, multitasking. Come on. There we go. Currently, 9:18. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then on the other side, we're going to talk Roswell Seed. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Some wounds need expert care to heal properly. At Artesia General Hospital's Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine Center, we use advanced treatments like hyperbaric oxygen therapy to help chronic wounds heal faster. If you or a loved one has a wound that won't heal, call 575-736-8235 today and take the first step toward recovery.
Have you experienced the Valley Cafe yet? It's much more than lunch or dinner. It's an experience. Chef Anthony Noble is a nominated Chef of the Year and manager with a 4.9 out of 5 kitchen cleanliness rating and a 4.8 out of 5 most loved rating. It's time for you to experience the difference that so many others already have at the Valley Cafe. Visit for lunch or dinner at 801 West Brasher, the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell. And save the Valley Cafe in your contacts. 575-755-EATS. 575-755-3287. Don't forget, we can cater your event too, and a portion of our proceeds go to the Dream Center in Roswell.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Wakefield Oil Company is a name you can rely on, with full service at the pump the way it used to be. You can expect service in just 15 seconds. They offer bulk fuel and oil services and even diesel exhaust fluid. Wakefield Oil Company will deliver to farms, ranches, dairies, the oil fields, and more with dependable service you can count on. So the next time you need service or delivery, go with the name that locals have trusted since 1983. Wakefield Oil Company, 311 South Virginia in Roswell. Let them earn your business.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The U.S. Treasury once considered producing donut-shaped coins. They instead decided to go with coin-shaped donuts. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning, wearing their Roswell Seed metaphorical hats.
Oh, yeah, that's what you guys are talking about.
That's what we're talking about this morning.
Yeah, because you have Roswell Invader hat on.
Yes, you don't have any hat on.
You don't have any hat on, yeah.
So,
how come you don't have a hat on?
So.
Because it makes my hair poofy.
Oh, God, yeah.
Show me your hat head.
Yeah, it makes my hair hurt.
I don't have that problem.
I don't either.
Well, yeah, you do. You still got hair under there.
Yeah, a little bit. But the sides is where it gets a little.
He just got a haircut.
Yeah, see? High and tight. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
But wearing our Roswell Seed hats today. That's where I got stopped at. John and Crystal Noble back with us. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. You know, you should just start announcing, John with his handler.
If you come in with a leash on, I'm going to totally do it.
Yeah.
Sit.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'll pee on her. I'll bite her.
I'll muzzle you.
It doesn't matter.
It's like the Humane Society and Roswell Seed coming together all in one day.
Such a clash of, oh, my gosh. It's like, here's professionalism versus, like, us at Roswell Seed. I mean, we're...
Well, it's professional a different way.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, if you need the knowledge, you need to get the job done, it's all professional.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for, like, the buy the book or, it's a bunch of country boys.
Yeah.
And when one thing ain't working, well, I guess we're going to shake a stick at it and see what else it does.
Basically,
to it.
yeah.
So it's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I'm not knocking on your door telling you that your lawn is dying.
Yeah.
Versus like what she knocking, you don't supposed to have your dog on a chain. Yeah, we don't go that far.
But you're saying, hey, I got a problem needs fixing.
Yeah, then that's a different story.
All hands on deck, we'll get it done.
Yeah, we got you covered.
So I'm kind of, when you get weeks like this, do you get a lot of people like panicking?
Hell yeah, everybody's in spring fever right now.
This has got to be kind of a nightmare for ag mode. I mean, you want nice weather, but at the same time, there's a order of operations, there's a process of things, and when you get unseasonable weather, it tends to mess that process up.
Does
a little
it
bit.
ever?
Yeah.
I mean, we got people, hey, can I plant? No. Hey, can I? No. Hey, can I? No.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem is that we're looking at we're probably. Don't quote us on it, but I mean, we're looking at probably really early spring.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless. And it's going to be a really bad summer when early springs hit.
Well, and that's I guess maybe the good thing about this is because really it's soil temperatures. That's right. And here, if they haven't already started, we'll start getting the reports from the Ag Science Center, with the soil temps every day. And when it hits that magic number, I don't remember what it is. Like
67.
Yeah, when it hits that number, then it's game on, checkered flag, green flag, let's go and start planting. But till then, you're really setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah, you big time. And everybody's, can I do this now? And it's like, I I would advise against it. And then they sit there and they look at you like, well, what do you know? I have no idea. I stayed
You're
at
right, I know nothing. Go ahead and do what you want.
Yeah, go for it. I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. Basically, it's like...
It also shocks the trees and then everything else because they're like, hey, warm weather. And like animals, like our horse, he's fully like a woolly mammoth.
Absolutely.
And he's like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's not time, but our weather needs to not do this.
And this is where I'm like, well, how long is this before it starts tricking trees and things to thinking it should
real
start?
Quick, especially people with fruit trees.
Yeah.
We've already had some people coming in going, hey, I have a peach tree, I have an apple tree, and it's like, yeah, it's going to bud out early. And then once that frost's hit, that's it for that tree.
So
I'm sorry.
Is there any preventative or anything? Or it's just
wrap them, about the best you could do is
and
find
that's not
a
even
wrap.
a guarantee. That's just gives you a fighting chance. I guess.
Basically, yeah. And then trying to wrap a tree, good luck.
Yeah.
That's not an easy chore.
And I imagine that what the temps do also impact that. Like if it doesn't get too cold, it just gets maybe. But if we get another 8-degree day, then it's lights out.
Yeah, so. Especially if it's bloomed. I mean, if it starts to bloom and all of a sudden the temperatures drop. Yeah.
I mean, if we get a 32, that may not be so bad. But but we're dropping down the teens for another week of consistency. That's after this.
If you understanding what plants, more or less do. We always have the freak frost in April. Everybody, that always happens. The one night it drops down, blah, blah, blah. Everybody freaks out on it. If you can cover up your plants, you're fine. It's not really for sake of the temperature dropping. It's the frost that's on the leaves that burns everything. That's the killer. So as long as you could cover them,
keep the frost off them.
Yeah, they're fine. They'll be just fine. But oh my gosh, no, you got everybody. Oh, my whole garden is dead. Oh, come on. Well, when did you? Well, I planted it in October. Oh, geez. I'm surprised anything.
Weather can be a fickle thing sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's weird. I mean, we're getting people that they're coming in saying, hey, my grass is changing color. And I'm like, huh? It's like you check, make sure it's weeds, because that's.
Yeah, weeds. This is thriving weed, Nice temperatures and a little bit of moisture.
Everything's coming up early.
They'll shoot up 3 inches overnight.
Yep. Bugs are going to be coming out early.
Sure.
I mean, we're starting to see, just yesterday went back to go feed and the flies are already in the back. It's like, damn it, here we go. Start breaking out the sprayers again. Start knocking out flies and stuff, which, naturally, you have horses or outside animals. Yeah, you're going to have flies. Sure. Just try to stay on it as best you can. We spray quite a bit, only for the simple fact is I don't like flies. So
I don't know anybody that does.
Well, yeah. I mean, there might be a couple of people. But
I'm sure there's one or two. They're fly up, whatever they call those experts. Insectologists or whatever.
If you are a beekeeper, with these warm weathers, there is nothing for the bees to be eating on. So make sure that you are still feeding your bees.
Yeah, there's no. You don't see any flowers.
No, we
no flowers, no pollinate, no eating. So
There's nothing for them to be flying around and feeding on, so they still need to be fed.
So what do you feed them? Honey? I mean, is that like
sugar water?
Sugar water. Okay.
Actually, we got some old, really, really old honey that was donated to the store.
Right.
And it's still good, but it's it's black.
Oh,
it's
so yeah,
dark,
honey never goes bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it may not be as savory, but it is bad.
This stuff is basically like
it back to feeding the bees.
This stuff is like a step out of molasses. It's like blah.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of repurposing it, and
Actually, if you left it a little longer, you might be able to cut it into taffy and just eat it like
pretty soon. We, I mean, and honey is a really kind of a weird thing. I mean, at one point, I had two hives that were about 10 feet apart from one another, and the honey off of one hive was golden, beautiful, clear, that gorgeous color. 10 feet away, honey was just dark, and it's just what they're feeding on.
Is that part of it, or I mean, I also wonder too. Does that happiness come into play? Like if the hive is cohesive, it's going to be a little better than maybe a more.
It's just what they like. If they're
whatever flowers they pollinate, whatever whatever ingredients they pick up along the way.
If they're in mesquite bushes and into like the darker pollen, that's when it turns darker. But when they're like pollinating on like dandelions and daisies and light wildflowers, then you get a light color alfalfa.
So I'm going to take a stab as you get good at this, maybe if you start wanting to tweak your palate, you start thinking about what kind of flowers you're putting around your.
So
your,
you can. And unfortunately, I have failed horribly at trying to do this. Just because our bees aren't in the easiest location for me to be free planting.
Sure.
And so tubs are not always the best thing to try to plant in when we get to 300 and 1,000 degrees here. But there are people that have like their bees in like a greenhouse to pollinate their vegetables, or they have it.
That's a really controlled climate. You're knowing exactly what they're pollinating, what they're eating. It's really hard to.
People put them in with their marijuana plants in greenhouses, so you get your gummy honey.
Now, does that honey gonna give really? Really?
Yeah.
If
and
you
it sells for like $400.
That kind of blows my mind a little bit. It's like you literally let them pollinate weed plant that's gonna make that honey get you high.
Years ago,
wow.
I had a gentleman that called me. He was from Colorado.
Yeah.
And it was right when Colorado made cannabis legal, type of deal, or and he called me and he was just talking to me about bees, and I'm like, okay, and theoretically, and I'm like, theoretically it should work. I mean, but you got to look at, bees go 3 miles for food, and he was like, enclose them and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you can. I mean, you have to give them a little bit something extra to be able to, just not straight off of. And no joke, he called me 2 years later and he was all like, hey, do you remember me? And I was like, yeah. I said, how did that go? He says, yeah. He goes, I got it patented. He was like, I'm selling medicinal honey.
Nice.
At like $300 a jar.
Oh, doggy.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
All I'm saying is we need to, if you want to save the bees, get this information out to the weed community. The bee population will be leaps and bounds growing real quick.
Well, there's only one, there's a small drawback to that, though, because the plants have to be, they're all females, right?
Yes.
Or they have to,
Gotcha.
so if one male plant, and if a bee gets on one male plant, they could cross-pollinate, 70 plants. So it's not really
it could get out of hand
real quick. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's not really something that the
amateurs.
Well, and in all fairness, I don't really care how the honey comes out of them. Just like if this is an excuse to get more bees around, that's a good thing.
So we are taking orders for bees.
Good.
Bee Day is going. Oh crap! That's not what I wanted. April 5th. Sorry, I was trying to see if I had prices in here. I don't remember them on top of my head.
The prices for bees are the same as last year. The nukes or the nucleus, they went up. They went up quite a bit.
So $265 for a package of bees, $375.
I think $375 for nukes.
And then we now have the offer of either Italian queens or bee weaver queens, and I think one's $55 and one's $45.
Okay, what's Is there a preference or draw or
depending.
One better than the other?
So Italian queens typically do better here because they're
they like pasta.
Generated from
they're
like California coastal area.
They're a little more docile.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have been exposed to like the higher and dry temperatures as to where bee weaver queens are in lush Garden of Eden humidity.
Yeah, where Italy's a little more mountainous, a little drier climate.
Right. Yeah.
Where those bees thrive, they'll do better.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're just a little bee weaver queens tend to be a little hardier than Italian queens.
Gotcha.
So they last a little bit longer.
So they're a little more forgiving if you're kind of newish to this. Maybe you want to go with
they can handle a little bit of abuse versus
so when you forget to do the one thing that everyone forgets the first time they do it or something.
Let them out of the package.
Don't let them out right away.
Yeah, we had that. Free. Yeah, we had that. We've had customers, been buying bees for 2 years, and every year they die, and it's like, well, you releasing them out, huh? Are you releasing them out of the package? Oh, we're supposed to do that? It's like, oh, God. Okay, I get it. You don't know, but bees have wings for a reason. They fly. It's like, they were leaving them in the bee packages. And
that's not going to help.
No, I know there's some people out there right now just rolling their eyes, just like laughing, but
it happens.
Yeah, it happens, it really does, and you're just like, you just spent all this money 2 years in a row. You don't even have a hive body, and they're like, "What's that?" And it's like, "Oh my gosh, okay."
So
here we go.
Some of these people might be the same people. This candy bar tastes like garbage. Well, you should open the wrapper.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That
might be part of your problem.
Yes. If you
They were the ones that, when somebody was like, "Oh my God, that smells horrible," and they walk over and go, "Oh, you're right." It's like,
Yeah. Oh, that's human nature.
Yeah, I was
this,
like, oh.
this is awful. Smell this.
Yeah, smell this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
we do it. We do it every
yeah.
time. It's like, no, you warned me. Why am I doing this?
Yeah, basically.
If you want to place an order, we're already taking orders now. Deadline to order is March 15th. Because we have to give
the
them...
Ides of March.
Yeah.
Yes. And we have to give them adequate time to get our order prepared because we're not the only place that picks up big orders.
That'd be awful, not very good business if you're their only customer. So
We pick up the biggest of the orders, basically. But,
Gotcha.
Yes.
and to watch them load bees, you would think you're just sitting there watching this going, this is about as hillbilly as hell as it gets. Because literally they take bees and they have this huge kind of a box.
Right.
And it's got a strap on it and they throw it on like a banjo. And it's got a flap opening, and they walk over to the packages, open them up, and this guy just opens this thing up and gives it like 2 or 3 good shakes,
like
and all the bees,
salt to a water softener or something.
basically, and the bees dump into this package, and then they just they put the juice can in and the queen, and then that's it, and you're just sitting there watching this going, wow, it doesn't get more Neanderthalish than this right here,
Kinda,
yeah, and it's usually a big dude that's doing it because he's carrying quite a bit of weight.
Cooking crabs is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
They're pretty docile. You throw them in the water and then they get out, but they're just kind of sitting there being stupid.
Yeah. And the bees just fall out like water.
Yeah.
And they've guesstimated, 2 shakes, that's about 3 pounds.
Right.
And, and so you're just looking at it going,
bee weighs literally like a kilogram of an ounce. So you imagine you got 3 pounds of bees. That's probably 40,000 bees.
That's a lot of bees.
Yeah.
In
People
a
don't realize.
little bitty box.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a hive body, you don't have anything, and you want to learn, call ahead of time.
Yeah.
Talk to one of us. We will help you figure it out if
Get
this
you
is
started.
a hobby you want to start or not, because once you get started, it is expensive. But also, this is a hobby that is not guaranteed.
Sure.
We can go get the bees. We can bring the bees back. But if the bees don't like their habitat,
Sure.
they can swarm.
And
you can't make them
And it
stay.
can be different year to year. You could
It
have
can.
1 year where you have honey coming out the yin yang, and the next year it's the Mojave Desert,
Yeah.
dried up.
Was it the year before last year when that hive swarmed right in front of us? Or was it 3 years ago?
That was 3 years ago.
Yeah, we were setting hives because people didn't pick up their bees, and so we had to get them put before they would die. And we were setting another round of hives because we had set the day before and went back with the others that they didn't pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were setting a hive, one of the other hives that we had just set,
We're out.
and took off. And we're
Yeah.
like, whoa.
The queen escaped from the package. It was a year that they used really bad queen packages, and basically this plug fell out. The queen got out. Well, when the queen got out,
There's no point for the rest to be there.
yeah, she was just kind of like, yeah, I'm out of here.
Are they trying to follow her, or are they looking for a new queen?
They will try if it depends on the pheromone. If the queen can get her pheromone throughout the hive, that's when they accept her. So generally, it takes about 3 days. There was less than about 24 hours when this happened and when we went there. So she can't fly, so she actually hopped out of the hive, and then all the bees came out of the hive, got on top of her, keeping her safe and stuff like that. And then once they figure out that real quick, it just takes one Karen. She ain't gonna be our queen, and then they put her back in twice, and the bees followed her both times, and then third strike, you're out. And then once again, I have to.
Maybe she just wasn't queen material.
Yeah, she wasn't. And this is where I have to, reiterate on the thing that 98% of the hive is female. So, with that being said, they're
So here, let me just put it to you real quick and simple. A male bee, they're called a drone. Their life is honey, nut, cheerio, goodbye.
Gotcha.
So, hi, nut, goodbye.
Gotcha.
So you're utilized
You're here for one
the
thing.
one
If we could only live, what?
Melvin?
I'm pretty sure they have to listen to a bunch of bitching and complaining too. So no No wonder they die right after. You know, it's kind of like goodbye, cruel world.
But the point is, sometimes the hive has issues.
Right.
It really
Well, it's Mother Nature.
Sure.
I mean, you know.
Yeah,
and it happens to everybody. It's just not, you know. I mean, I couldn't even count how many hives I've had swarm on me. You know, a couple of them, you know, fortunately they swarmed from one hive into the other hive. For some reason, I missed it. They lost the queen, or the queen was sick.
Sure.
And then that's
kind of where my question was. So is this a bunch of orphaned bees that look for a new hive? Is that what kind of happens?
One or two things can happen. If it's really short notice, they'll look for another hive or something. The other thing is they'll make a queen, and that queen, when she hatches, she has wings. So when she flies, they fly. So
Gotcha.
she has to be bred in flight. Okay. And that's where the biggest fear of Africanization of the colonies happens.
Okay, I got you.
If she gets bred by a drone and brings it into the hive, and then it will slowly become.
That's when you start getting some of these like killer bees.
Oh,
and all
yeah,
some of this
yeah, and you won't know it until it's too late.
Gotcha.
You know, I've run into 2 swarms so far over my time, and both times, thankfully, knock on wood, I wasn't that close. One was I closed the door on my truck. That triggered them. Just the door. And daylight turned to night. I mean, that whole hive came after me.
Wow.
Luckily, I got into the truck and
Right.
I wasn't stuck. But I actually had to use the windshield wipers and back up to get out of this area. And second time, when the guy told me, they're pretty angry. Okay, I took his word for it. I drove up, I hit the horn.
Right.
And they just come blasting out.
No amount of smoke going to calm that down.
No kidding. So, you know, that's the thing. But once she flies, they will fly with her. And there might be just a couple of, you know, holdouts in the hive.
So is there a quest for a new hive or a new home? Basically?
They will.
They're looking for a place to build a hive.
They're looking for a place to make their own, or she's going to make her own, because, you know, I am woman, hear me roar.
Right.
I don't like this place. This was your mom's place, or, you know, this was your Aunt Doris's house, or whatever. I want my own house, and I want 2 stories with a swimming pool, and, you know, and generally what they'll end up doing is this is when they find like trees. They're fantastic about finding cracks in trees and nooks in trees.
Sure.
And then they make that their home.
Your porch.
Or
your porch, or inside one of your eaves.
There are people that we can give you the number for to go do
like a relocation, right?
a swarm removal.
They do
So
swarm
basically,
removals.
they come and they put them in a bee box, and then they find the queen, make sure the queen's in there, and then they take the box and they go set it up in a hive on their own.
Sure.
There are things that you should look for. If you have little bitty teeny tiny gaps around your house, they will go inside that little gap and get inside your walls, and they will make that their home.
Gotcha.
So
then you got them all inside your.
We have
in your walls,
one of our customers.
Yes.
It's her dad's house, and I still want to go see it. But the whole length of the house is a beehive.
Wow.
It has been there for like 30 years.
Well, and then
she
we have
says,
Mr. Boz.
Yeah, she says in the summertime, the honey drips out of the bottom of the whole wall of the house.
Wow.
On the outside. And she said you could lay up against it and just feel it
Oh, my
vibrate
God.
all the way down. I want to go see it.
That's cool and nightmare fuel all at the same time.
Well, she was her father had passed, and she didn't know what she was going to do with the house. And she was going to sell it and blah, blah, blah. And she asked, you know, if somebody could come and check it out. She was kind of explaining this to me, and I'm like, you realize that, you know, they're going to have to remove the whole wall to get to these, or, you know, unfortunately kill them.
Yeah.
And she was all like, no, you know, they were with my dad this whole entire time. So she actually, because of the bees, she ended up keeping the house. She's not selling it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and like she said,
Is somebody living in it? Or?
People live in it. And, you know, like she said, they don't bother anybody. She's
I
like,
know,
but
that's just creepy.
Summertime,
I don't know how I can sleep with the knowledge of that going on.
The walls are crying.
Yeah.
You know, in the summertime, it's oh my gosh, how cool. You know,
I mean, if you grew up in it, it's one thing. But I don't know.
One of our customers, we had to go remove bees out, and then the following year,
we had to remove them again.
Bees moved back in, had to move them out. We'd clean them all out. One of the
a cozy place they love, man.
one of the gentlemen who we were working with, he needed some help. His name's Mike. He was removing the bees. He's got a special vacuum and all that. And so we helped them. And then the following year, they came back. And then we got rid of those ones. And then the following year, they came. And I'm sitting there just like, And then he moved from his house
to a new house,
to his old house in the dairy, and that had bees in it after. And I told him, I said, "You're in the wrong business. You need to be in the bee business." Yeah,
we just learned it's not the house, it's you.
Yeah. He just kind of laughed. He's like, "Oh my gosh."
Must have some honey in the veins or something. They love you.
They do. If they feel comfortable, they're not gonna try to attack you or anything.
Sure.
When you start batting and waving and doing all of this stuff, you're going to tick them off and then you're going to get stung.
Yeah.
I know it is instinct to, when something touches you that's unforeign, to do this. I still do it to this day. Do I get stung? Occasionally.
Yeah.
But I'm not like the bees buzzing by and I'm not like,
sure,
doing all of this. So if you have a fear of bees,
that's rule step one.
Yeah.
Just go to the store and buy you honey.
Yeah.
or no guy.
More or less. Yeah. Well, and two, they're attracted. A lot of times they're attracted to women more than men because of their hair conditioner. It's sweet
the
smelling.
And the hair and all that.
You have coconut, you have honey, you have avocado, almond, all of those things.
False entrapment, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
I can't tell you how many times I've had a bee stuck in my bun.
Hair bun.
Yeah, hair bun.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my bun.
Not your cinnamon buns.
Yeah, I was just saying. Yeah.
In my honey bun on my head, but. It is an expensive hobby, and it is very addicting. Once you get into it and once you start getting the feel of it, you want to expand, you want to do this, you want to do that. It is not cheap. So look at your finances beforehand, because once you start and you try to expand, you've got to be able to adapt.
Sure. You can go with it, keep your, exactly. It's just like any other thing, you start getting more and more, and it's like this business or this hobby can be a point where
it is.
It can get quite costly if you're not careful. And even the most expert of people still lose a lot of money. So it's not, it's not for the faint of heart, but if you're really, really wanting to raise bees and have your own, backyard honey, they'll get you started. But
and you'll
be warned.
Yeah, you'll get friends you didn't even know you had.
Oh, yeah.
Once they start finding out, you got honey. Hey.
Oh yeah, they're gonna want to hook you.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Some honey.
Yeah, I mean, we got people coming down to the store. Hey, you got honey? It's like, no, we don't. We had really bad 2 years because it's been so hot.
Maybe this year will be the year.
It's not looking like it
not
already.
Looking good.
No.
Well, the fact that it's February and it's already
80 degrees in February.
That's not boding well.
Yeah.
We were talking yesterday. I was like, God, maybe we should go put supers on the bees already and get it started and do an early harvest versus a mid harvest.
Sure. So you got a chance to get some in before.
Yeah, as soon as stuff starts blooming.
I did an early harvest last year, didn't I?
Yeah, not really, but once stuff starts to bloom or looks like it's blooming.
Once they got something to eat, that's when we can start the process here.
That's just it. And unfortunately, out where we're at right now, being that, soon, if we ever get to find a house,
right?
Because we're still in search of a home, we can be able to plant some flowers and stuff like that.
Sure.
But like out in our area, there's really nothing blooming right now.
What what if you just because you were talking about like putting flowers and things.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, what if you before you actually go. Say you go and buy some starter plants, and you got like the little bloomed, whether you buy them at Roswell Seed or if you're at the grocery store and you pick up, like literally throw a couple of those in a wagon and then just like parked it out by the hive. It's left it there for a day or two. Is that?
Sometimes it works. Sometimes I mean I've put beehives in what I thought was like a really target rich environment.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. Didn't produce any honey, like at all.
But I didn't know if you just like left it out there and let it, just let it be and let them pollinate, and then when they're done, go put them in your garden or wherever you plan on doing with
generally
them,
we don't. Like, there's a couple of people like where our bees are at. I actually met one of them, and he's just all like, "Yeah, love it, love you guys." He's all like, "My garden did amazing," and I'm like, "Oh well, you're welcome," and so I mean They are beneficial. Unfortunately, it kind of sucks for people in the city.
Right.
Because you're not allowed to have bees in the city.
Gotcha.
Even though they might be overtaking one of your trees, you're not allowed to have them. So, as long as your neighbors are cool, you can hide a hive-ish. Camouflage it to make it look like the fence.
Sure.
But, They are extremely beneficial, and we've looked at that. I mean, generally, you don't bring the plants to the bees; you take the bees to the plants.
Gotcha.
So
I just didn't know if space was a thing, and you're like, man,
we tried. She tried it, and then
look at my radio flyer wagon and just load up with some geraniums over here.
She got this book. We have a book down at the store that we sell, and it's flowers for the bees. And she's picking out all of these really cool this and it's really cool that. All of them are mainly invasive plants. And where we have them at is on farmland. And I told her, no. Yeah. He won't mind. Yeah, he will. I mean, this is his livelihood. You start letting, invasive plants get into an alfalfa field. It does not take long. Screw the bees. This is
the stuff they're fighting out at like Bitter Lake and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the salt cedar
or
whatever.
Cedars and stuff. Yeah. But there's a lot of people that they do plant and they have, and once, like I said, once we find a home that, isn't $700,000 and get set up, then, I plan on planting and having, nice plants and stuff like that, just for kind of everything to thrive and live on. Not like I'm some like tree hugging botanist kind of No, I like nice things. No. And, if the bees come and partake in it, I'm not opposed to it.
You like to go out in your own backyard and pick a tomato every once in a while.
Exactly.
Or get some honey or do that.
Or it's going to be mine. So if I want to dig a hole, I could dig it for no reason. I'm just going to dig a hole. Yeah. Why do you have to dig a hole for? Because I was bored and it's Tuesday.
We're running a little short on time here. So let's, but bees, if you're interested, please contact
us.
And now's the time to kind of get your information, get percolating, planning, plotting, and get ready for
hives, if you need supers, get the orders in early because we have to order the material in. And so we want to make sure that we have enough when we order it because the majority of the time when we do bee day, we have preset hives that are already built and sold, and then we have a few extra, but not always do we have a few extra. So if you don't have a hive, get the order in now.
Gotcha. Because when they come, you got to get them right away. You just can't leave them in the bag and forget about it.
When you get a hive, you need to have the hive picked up prior to the bees so you can paint it, let it dry, so that way it reflects the sun.
It's not fun painting a hive while bees are in it. Been there, done that. Doesn't work out too well.
So there's a lot that goes into it. So
yeah, you can tell you can tell some of my hives. It's like, it's pretty white, and then there's some other ones where it just looks like, because I went running by, slapping paint on.
Spray paint cans.
Yeah, basically,
Why have the bees white? There's spray can.
Just spray paint,
whatever.
But, so as long as and if you have questions, call. I mean, we'll tell you, and we're upfront about it.
And odds are, at some point or another, you guys probably stepped in that same pile that they're just stepping in right now.
Yeah. It takes a lot of bee poop to make a big pile, but I guarantee you, I probably stepped in it for sure, at least twice.
Absolutely, But it's kind of the same thing when you get these. It's no different than your day job here with the Humane Society. If you're not prepping your home to have the dog or the cat, then don't have the dog or the cat. Same thing with the bees. If you're not going to prep to get the environment perfect for it, then it's a waste of time, money, and effort. Don't do it.
Most of all the farmers around here, they'll accept it. You got beehive? I mean, I have farmers say, hey, can you come out and set like 60 beehives? It's like, no, because I don't have that money.
Right.
But I mean, if let's say we just had one not too long ago, child wanted to do it. Dad got a hold of the farmer right up the road. Farmer's all like, yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Put it right here. And
that's part of the ecosystem. Yeah, man. They're beneficial.
They're looking this year at cranking it out.
They're good neighbors to have in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
the majority of the farmers that have bees on their crops or their fields buy bee-friendly pesticides.
Yeah.
There are certain pesticides that do not affect bees, and they'll tell us, just in case, hey, go ahead and close them up for the night just to make sure.
Sure.
And so we close them up, keep them in, they spray, they do their thing, then in the nighttime we go open it back up.
That's how neighbors work in the South and down in the country,
Yeah, as long as you keep, you talk to these people, and like I said, most of the farmers very open to it. They don't mind, they don't care. As long as you're not putting it in their right of ways or anything like that, they don't really give
give each other their space and and that's how it works.
Yeah. And then remind them that, there are some nights I will be out there, so don't shoot at me I've had many sheriff's officers show up.
And maybe bring a jar of honey over.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's good payment, man. chocolate chip cookies. No, that's kid stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a quart, type of deal.
A couple mason jars full of the sweet amber would be just fine.
That'd be perfect.
We're making diabetics one spoon at a time.
That's right.
But I did want to ask. Now we're as far as the winter hours and things. Is that still going on for another month?
It's still going on right now. I think next week we're going to be changing back over to 6 straight days a week again. I was about ready to find out before we left and had to fly down here. But there's a big green thing over the big green paper, and it has winter hours on it over our time. If that green paper's gone, we're right back to normal hours again.
Which you're normal used to
back
here.
to the grind.
And that'll be coming up here pretty quick as the weather
very
gets.
quick.
And so
especially with the weather changing as early as it is.
Yeah, I would say people are going to start getting it. But don't be fooled. Don't be planting. Don't be planting yet. Wait till that soil temp gets up.
No.
We start planting.
Grass seed, you're fine. Flowers, no. Vegetables, if you got them inside, nothing outside.
Nothing out in that dirt outside.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, our meteorologists, they're kind of like Congress. You have no idea which way they're going to go.
Sure.
So, it could be, today's 83, and you go outside, and it's like, it got over 45 today. What the hell?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they're going off of stuff that.
Yeah.
But
a couple weeks of this, that soil temp will go quick.
It's gonna start rising pretty soon.
We'll see. So.
Yeah.
But hold,
yes.
Just like Braveheart, hold.
Hold. Look at magazines, get an idea.
That's right.
Blueprint of the garden.
That's right. Don't turn it loose.
Don't turn it loose yet, though. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
All right.
All right. Stay cool.
Yeah, ish.
I guess.
Yeah.
9:55. Quick news update and Hannity update before we end the show. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. A recent analysis by S&P Global Commodity reveals a significant decline in methane emissions from oil and gas production operations in the Permian Basin. This covers the year 2023. The firm says it's a testament to the industry's ability to innovate and adapt and companies' commitment to stewardship. Methane, a potent greenhouse gas, has long been a target for emission reduction efforts. The S&P analysis shows that the decline in methane emissions from the Permian Basin is equivalent to the annual carbon emissions avoided by every electric vehicle on the road in the United States. The so-called Carlsbad Man Camp is now under new ownership. The 800-bed facility serves as a temporary shelter for oil field workers as they complete drilling and other extraction efforts in the region. Corporate Hospital Services recently acquired the Carlsbad Lodge. It also operates similar facilities in Midland, Odessa, Pecos, Orla, Big Spring, Loving, and Jow. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
A report going back from the Washington Times. A 2013 FAA document raised the issue in stark terms. How much of a change in job performance is acceptable to achieve diversity goals? You work as an air traffic controller. First of all, it's a hard job. I know people that do it. I know people that have done it. You better have the ability to multitask at a very, very high level. You better have fast decision-making qualities. That is not something the average person, is not a job for the average person. This is a job for somebody with a very, very specific set of skills that can manage and multitask many things at once and have a lot of balls in the air because there's a lot of planes in the sky.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Hey, you exhausted every day? Maybe you have the 3 p.m. crash or struggling with memory issues, having a hard time focusing. You have to stop and pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. I never run out of energy, and I'm fully focused. Strong Cell. It's a revolutionary supplement that has truly changed my life. I use it every single day. It gives you natural energy, helps me stay focused all day long, and just makes me feel better overall. Whether you're a working mom or dad or homeschooling your kids or some of our loyal men and women behind the wheel across the country, try Strong Cell. It'll change your life. Linda uses it as well.
I use it every single day. I have my kids using it, my parents using it, my in-laws using it, my friends using it, and I am telling you, it is immediate. is one of the only ways you can get NADH on the market, and it works.
Go to HannityStrong.com. Use the promo code Hannity. You get a special 20% off any order. Once again, HannityStrong.com. And Strong Cell believes in their products so much you get a 60-day no-risk policy. Invest in your health. I did it. It changed my life.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. It was a victory for Roswell on Friday night as the Coyotes played their second boys basketball district game. Roswell defeats Carlsbad 47-44. The Coyotes 17-5 overall, 1-1 in district play. They will host Clovis next Friday night for their next outing. Meanwhile, it was a split for Goddard over the weekend, losing at Portales. District opener for the Rockets, and a tough Portales team wins 54-38. But then Goddard bounces back on Saturday and wins at NMMI 39-36. The Rockets are 8-12. They'll host Lovington tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, Hagerman is now 11-5 overall, 2-1 in district play after winning Saturday against Loving. Final score 64-41 for the Bobcats. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
Your home for Coast to Coast AM in Roswell, 106.5. Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says after a conversation with President Trump that the planned tariffs are on hold for a month. Sheinbaum says on X, Mexico will reinforce the northern border with 10,000 members of the National Guard immediately to stop drug trafficking from Mexico to the United States, in particular